It's Throwback Thursday at Darlington Raceway. The lady in black, the track too tough to tame, has been a challenge all week long. First for the Cup Series, then for the Truck Series, and now for the Area Lodgebox Series. Welcome to Sim TV and the Area Lodgebox Series. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined tonight by Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy. And Connor, this track is a challenge. We know that. It's going to be fun to watch all night long, but we're throwing it back on a Thursday to paint schemes from the past NASCAR eras, from as recently as just a couple of years ago, all the way back to decades ago. Excited to get this one underway, as we have been all week long.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this one. The throwback schemes have not missed any point this week. It's been awesome. All the racing's been incredible. It's just really exciting. Whenever you come to a track too tough to tame, you know you're going to get an exciting race. You know you're going to get a lot of action one way or another as we look at the 49 car coming through. I believe 1 and 2 Allen Elwood. This is one of the best on track. A lot of Supros of good throwbacks. A Ken Schrader throwback to the early 2000s, Hunter.
Indeed, that race car won this race a year ago, and Allen Elwood, he actually led 116 of the 120 laps, but we added on 10 laps for this year's race. So he'll have to lead at least 126 if he wants to go back to victory lane, but like we've been seeing all week long, it doesn't matter if you lead the most laps or not. It would help to lead the most laps, but with all the cautions that we've been seeing, it'll be interesting to see if the Lodgebox Series does the same tonight. In last season's race, there were only 2 cautions, so with more drivers in the field, I'm sure that number is bound to go up, Kyle.
Yeah, we'll see what the cautions will look like. Monday was pretty green and clean. There was a couple incidents here and there. A lot of single car accidents, though, because this track will be, of course, the challenge it has always been at the exits of turns 2 and 4. Connor, you get that Darlington stripe, as they call it, but it's been kind of the Darlington swipe the last couple of days. Pretty big impacts, especially onto the backstretch out of turn number 2. It's an easy place to pick up that famous wall stripe there and then crash down this long backstretch. The other thing that was a topic of discussion on Monday was crashes that don't trigger a caution flag being a pretty big deal, Connor.
And we saw that on Tuesday night as well with me and Finian in the booth. We saw the same thing happen. A bunch of wrecks out of turn number 2. If they get low enough to the apron, they're not going to trigger that yellow. We saw that at least 3 times on Tuesday, and we're bound to likely see it again. I was joking with Finian on Tuesday as well. The Darlington stripe, that might as well be the Twitch poll. See, put the over on at like 14.5. These drivers are going to get up against it and probably not get off of it. Turn 2 is going to be that trouble spot. Turn 4 can be tight as well, but turn 2, a very sharp apex. If you're side by side through there, you might as well book someone putting it into the outside wall. You cannot go too wide through there and keep your momentum. You got to be really careful to get single file early on.
As I say, if the stripe is at 14.5, smashing the over, it should be at 40.5 with how many times these guys hit the wall. Some drivers will hit it 14 times in a race, but back to the point of emphasis of caution, the second to last caution in that stretch, we had, I think, 5 or 6 wrecks down the backstretch. A couple of them were multi-car wrecks, and there were still no cautions. So I feel like we're probably going to see the same thing tonight just because there's so much to run off down on both straightaways. Where if it's far enough below the racetrack, caution won't come out. I'm hoping that we don't see that and that we see some good hard racing. As we see the 28 of John Furness. He's only 13th quickest on the board, but he's been one of the drivers to watch out for who has yet to win a race. We're already halfway through the regular season. Got Scioli and Elwood with a couple of wins each on the season, and then got to go back to Shane Therian winning at Daytona and Tommy Ryan the last time we were here for the Lodgebox Series was at the new Atlanta reconfiguration. So, guys, I feel... look, he just jumped up to 4th. I feel like tonight's the night for John Furness to put a W in the column.
I've said this the last couple of weeks, and I keep waiting for it to happen, so I'm hoping that he does. But he just is too good to not have a win by this stage. 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s, which means that every time that he has run top 10, he's been in the top 5. It has been a pretty phenomenal season, with the exception of course, Daytona. IRP had some issues, and then Atlanta only a mediocre 12th. But his other finishes, 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd, Connor. So Furness certainly on the list of drivers to keep an eye on. But how can you ignore Scioli and Elwood at the top of the standings? 2 wins apiece. Elwood right now fastest, Scioli 3rd quickest. You can't ignore those 2.
No, you can't as well, and neither can John Furness. As fast as he's been, he's had winning speed. At Mid-Ohio, we thought he had that one. He was at the front of Atlanta. Couldn't get it done at Daytona. So many of these tracks. He was fast at IRP as well. He's fast, no doubt about it. He's in contention, no doubt about it, but he still has to take that next step to be able to close these races out. He's lost at least one to Scioli. He's lost out to Elwood. He's lost out a few that he probably should have won. He's going to have to get this thing going one way or another. We're likely not to see wins come into play to knock him out of the playoffs, but you really just never know the way these seasons go at times. Your luck could change with a snap of your fingers. So he's got to get going at some point. We know he has the speed for it. Just a matter of closing this deal out once and for all.
We saw that back in Atlanta on the truck side of things with David Weishart. Won in Atlanta and just won this past Tuesday night at Darlington. He's currently second quickest on the board as they are rolling already. I feel like David Weishart's going to be one to keep an eye on for tonight. That is not him, but that is a pretty sick throwback in the number 98. But David Weishart has been on a roll as of late, and as mentioned, he's got 2 truck wins recently coming this past Tuesday. Really loves the Lodgebox car. So he's trying to slow down and get on the pit road, practice that pit entry. That's another thing we're going to have to focus on tonight. A lot of guys coming in too hot. I feel like we might see one go into those, not tire barriers, but water barriers over there, the barrels. This pit road is so challenging to get on just because of how steep the banking is over in 3 and 4. 23 degrees of banking all the way down to about 2, maybe 3 degrees on pit road. So that's another thing we're going to have to keep an eye on.
That pit road will certainly be one of the biggest challenges as we've seen all week heading into our final event of the weekend, or of the week, I should say. Qualifying is coming up next. Practice is over, and we'll head into that here in just a moment. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel for only $5 a month. You can watch all Area broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber and use to redeem free merchandise. That is or twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Qualifying is underway, and we'll get an opportunity kind of to look down through the field at some of these throwback liveries. It is throwback night, as we've referenced before. It means that we'll get a chance to kind of look through who has indulged in a throwback livery and who has not. Here's the 93 of Seth Noel with a pretty recognizable early 2000s livery.
Yeah, looking like a little bit of a Kevin Harvick throwback, the same number font and everything. That's one detail you love to see out of these throwbacks when they get the number font oh so perfect. It's just absolutely magical, and that thing looks so good. Where else would a scheme like this, a good wrench scheme, it fits at Darlington, no doubt about it. And we're going to see what this 93 can do through turn number 1. You're going to see a lot of drivers get as close to that outside wall in the middle of 1 and 2 as they can, turn it back down all the way to that final seam out of turn 2 to get the best run down the backstretch, Hunter.
Yep, and then down into 3 and 4, you're going to want to see these guys run sort of that middle to bottom, get really close to the top, and that will give you the Darlington stripe if you get close enough to it. Carry the momentum off of 4 and see what he puts down here on this first lap. It's a 30.064. The track record here was set last year by Alan Elwood at a 29.605, so got quite a few tenths to make up if he wants to break that.
Noel at the top of the board for now. Here's the number 64 of Ed Robertson, currently 4th on the board. With a Jimmy Johnson throwback here, Connor, although not quite the right number or quite the right manufacturer, but he's got it right in spirit.
Yeah, don't look at the front end. If you don't think of it as a Supra, you're going to be okay, but still looking so awesome. Wrapping the bottom, you're going to see a few different lanes, 2, 3, and 4. The bottom works well, can help the tires out, but that top gets such a run into turn 1 for the next set of corners. You really might have to consider putting that down as he goes 4th quickest for the time being.
I'm trying to remember, could this also be a Busch Series throwback to Kyle Busch's, one of his first Busch Series cars? Because he also ran the lows, because there was a pretty similar livery there, so I'd have to double check that that's Johnson throwback. Either way, goes up to, looks like place now 6 as Greg Mitchell goes 2nd quickest, Hunter.
I'm actually looking at that Kyle Busch throwback. It's kind of. You can kind of
I think all the low schemes are similar.
I wasn't sure because the number font, I mean, I guess he was trying to replicate Jimmy's too, but reminded me a lot of Kyle's. I think it was a 3 or 60 something. It was not 5, I know that. It was
57.
Before. Oh, is that what it was? 57?
I believe so, yes. Brian Vickers, Kyle Busch, they all ran the 57 one random year.
Here is the 98 of Hunter Collier running through turns 3 and 4 with the Bojangles scheme here, right, Connor?
Yeah, Derek Cope throwback from early to mid 90s. Starcom ran a throwback to this, I believe, 3 years ago, and you can't go wrong with a Bojangles throwback. It looks so slick and so well done by the 98 right there.
There's a 29 of Chris Rabel. He's been one that's been hot and cold. He's either up inside the top 10 or he's back towards the back. And there's another driver who's also towards the top 10 a lot this season. Tom Bourne in the Simrap Market Greg Biffle throwback paint scheme that you fans can vote for at the pinned comment over there on your Twitch feed. iRacing.com/vote. You can select up to 3 different paint schemes, and this paint scheme is one of them. And I do have to say this is a pretty sick looking paint scheme as Tom comes across the line. He's going to stay 12th quickest on the, nope, up to 10th quickest for Tom Bourne.
A lot of mid-2000s Roush era liveries that I really like. Bright colors and cool designs and great number fonts as well, so that's one we'll have to keep our eyes on here. Forrest Smith's on track. Ryan Swan is on track. No throwbacks for those guys tonight. 96 of Jacob Hudson ran 1 qualifying lap so far. Matthew Cochran's on track here with the number 4, and other drivers we're keeping our eyes on. Steve Durham, Ricky Harden on track as Harden goes for a slide, but gathers it back up.
It's a heck of a save to be able to hang on to that thing in a Metallica machine. Don't believe it's a throwback, but it sure looked like a throwback. Remember when the cars were that sideways here? I certainly don't, but he did a good job saving it, and it looks like he's going to try to get this one back around to hopefully keep a straight line for the second lap as Colin Fambro comes out to start his run. As it's the same throwback he ran on Tuesday, but it looks so good as we see Harden into 1 here as he blinks a little bit.
No, that was my misclick there.
Oops.
Colin rolling. He just hasn't had a. I was trying to click Colin Fambro, but he's with a bunch of drivers that are not currently on track. Here's that Colin Fambro livery, Hunter, that Connor was referencing.
Indeed, it's the Silver Bullet from Coors Light. I believe Kyle Larson ran the Silver Bullet, but it was actually silver. I don't see any silver on this car, but nonetheless, it is still the Silver Bullet that Fambro is running tonight. And looking at the board, less than 5 minutes to go. Elwood currently quickest, 29.76. Hearn second quickest, 29.82. Cameron Hearn is one to keep an eye on as well, as, boy, Fambro really loose coming out too.
Had a big bobble there on the exit of the corner. Andrew Zanto sits on pit lane. He's going to start rolling now too. Travis Beckner is also on track in the number 27 Area 500 winner on the Cup side this season. Hasn't been quite as fruitful since then, but still putting in the effort week in and week out. Really tight to the wall in 3 and 4 here, Connor, and exits. This will be his second attempt at a timed lap. Lap 1 was invalidated.
See what he can do here across the line, a 30 flat. Not going to really do the job well there. Maybe 2.5 tenths off, puts him 15th for the time being. Won, I believe, the truck race at Gateway, and has been trying to do a little bit better. Had some decent runs, but hasn't been able to put enough of anything together to go for the race win. As here we talk about, this is the one that I'm going to say to the folks at home, Kyle immediately focused on this one, and he was really excited about this one. I can't blame him. That is probably the most well-done McMurray throwback I've seen ever.
The better looking throwback too, as the one gives me PTSD every time I look at it. 2010 Daytona 500. As a junior fan, all junior fans will know that as life. I think he got the wall.
Might have a 31.65. Nope, it's going to count 20th place, so not exactly as high as I'm sure he was hoping for. But yes, a mid-2000s era Roush, just bright colors and cool designs, as I mentioned, and just great sponsors they had that had such vibrant colors that just made them stand out. And as myself getting interested in NASCAR in the 2007-2008 era, cars of that time. There's James Coe in the 24. He's getting rolling here, on track now. Got a throwback from, I think, a little bit prior to that 2007-2008 era. Is this a Mark Martin? Is this
Viagra?
Oh, boy. Well, we got another one of those in here, too.
It's going to be a battle between those two for sure. The 69 AJ Roderick, I believe his time
AJ won the number lottery on this one for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. Trying to see where he is. I believe he's about maybe 13th. I can't pinpoint exactly.
14th place.
14th. Close enough. But Coe's is very solid as well, so he's going to do the same line. We've seen a couple drivers do this line where you enter low, let it run up the track, and exit sort of around the middle. We'll see how it works for him. He'll go another time around. A 30.659 will put him 28th for now.
We got 2 minutes left. I'm not sure if we're doing picks to win or not, but I got my eye on John Furness picking up the win tonight. Looking over in the Twitch chat, and the poll question is, will there be a new winner tonight? Bet yes or no, exclamation point bet. And
yes.
Dom DeLeo saying no.
Dom DeLeo's wrong. Yes, there will be a new winner tonight.
Wow, okay.
No, he's saying no to his
Dom
own
doesn't
driver.
deserve that. Dom doesn't deserve that type of abuse. Hold on.
I'm just saying, it seems like tonight's going to be the night for John Furness. He's been essentially the third fiddle to Scioli and Elwood in terms of domination. No offense to Therian or Ryan picking up their wins, but it's just Furness has been so good this season, and it just seems like tonight's the night where I feel like he's due for a win. According to his boss, Dom DeLeo, that's a no. And I'm a little confused by that.
Paul Irvin on track now. He's got about a minute left to get some times in. He's currently 31st on the board and a Sharpie throwback. This isn't, if I was doing a Sharpie throwback, I probably would have chosen one of the ones that had the swoop that kind of went into the marker point. You know what I'm talking about, Connor?
I do know what you mean.
Okay, thanks.
It's a little. I think it's maybe a season or two before that. This is when Kurt Busch wasn't really that big of a name yet, if you can think about that. He's been around that long, but it is a really sharp paint scheme, no pun intended. As Irvin came across the line there to go a little bit faster, puts him just on the edge of the top 20.
I'm looking through. Dom DeLeo is at the Dallas Mavericks game, aka the only NBA game going on tonight, and he just put in the chat, tonight is the night Furness officially gets the dub. But he bet no, that we won't get a new winner.
Well, he must be happy with losing all his points, I suppose. I don't really get the strategy.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You do you, Dom. You're at an NBA game. You can do what you want.
What is going on?
I don't know either.
Oh, boy. All right.
We'll roll with it.
Well, we are going to roll with it. And in a moment, we're going to go through our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup here in a couple of minutes. Fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Time to go through our starting grid in just a moment. We've got a quick warm-up period here to get through before we launch and go racing. 130 laps on tonight, Connor. Early lap goal. What's the strategy here? Are you just trying to get yourself settled in? Are you trying to grab some spots? What's the plan here?
Get single file. You don't want to be too wide. Yes, you want to get as many spots as you can on the initial start, but you're really going to try to get single file before you even get into turn number 1. I know that's a difficult task to complete, but you're going to gain so much time on the drivers behind you that don't get single file compared to when you get single file. We saw it very quickly. Every restart, single file, really in 2 turns for the most part. You saw some battles here or there, but I think just getting through the first lap is going to go a long way. Getting through the first few laps in general clean is going to go a long way to you getting a good finish tonight.
Indeed, that will be something to keep an eye on for. If we get a long green flag run, I feel like it's a sign of things to come, kind of like what we saw in last season's race. But if we get all those cautions, then it'll be interesting to see how many pit stops these guys make it, because tires are going to be a concern. But we've only got 130 laps, so I'm not sure how many times these guys are going to have to come down pit road and change their set of tires. But I feel like after about 15 laps or so, if we get a caution, like a quick caution, I feel like we'll see most people come down pit road.
You know, it was interesting on Monday. We didn't see as many cautions as I was expecting, given how unforgiving this place is. It does seem like there's a lot of self-preservation built into racing here, because once you hit the wall once, it just becomes a magnet. You stick to it for the rest of the night. So the goal is to just stay out of trouble all night. There was plenty of times on Monday when I thought we were going to see a crash that we didn't. Even plenty of times that we saw a crash and didn't trigger a caution. So we'll keep that in mind. Let's head down to the racetrack here and get through our Roasted Gems Coffee starting grid here, though, Connor. Kick things off with row number 1. Alan Elwood in the number 49, alongside James Scioli in the number 7, who coming into the night is the points leader.
And then we get to the second row. Cameron Hearn, not a throwback, but you know he'll be flying to the front from the 3rd starting position. John Furness is not really a throwback for him. It's the number he's ran all season long, but it does get that throwback vibe. He starts 4th.
Starting in row number 3, Greg Mitchell in the number 2 will line up on the inside of the race Ford Mustang. Shane Therian will roll off alongside him in the number 38 in 6th.
And then a 4th row of the night, Colin Fambro is going to start on the outside in the 8th position, and then to the inside of him, Chris Rabel in 7th, looking for a solid run.
Starting behind them in row 5, it's David Weishart in the number 33 alongside Brian Chambliss in the number 25 Chevrolet.
Seth Noel looking to turn things around. He gets a solid starting position of 11th, just outside the top 10, and the right side of him is going to be the 5 of Garrett Grant.
In row number 7, it's going to be Ed Robertson in the number 64 alongside AJ Roderick, number 69.
The 15th and 16th starting positions belongs to Forrest Smith in the 84 and Tom Bourne and a beautiful Greg Biffle throwback in the 16th position. How fitting.
And in 17th, it'll be the number 98 of Hunter Collier alongside Travis Beckner in the number 27 in 18th.
Then the edge of the top 20, rounding things out for the top 20, the 09 of Bryce Senesac and Swervin' Paul Irvin in a Kurt Busch throwback. He's in the 48 machine.
21st place will be Richard Thomas in the number 55, a nice-looking Simrat Market livery on the evening. And alongside him, 22nd, Pierce Maffitt in the silver and orange number 44 Ford.
Another beautiful Roush Fenway Racing throwback, Michael Leip in the 26th, throwing it back to Jamie McMurray, and alongside him, to the right of him, Jeremy Rigney in the 41 machine.
25th place will be Jeff Ryan in the number 37, Matthew Cochran right alongside him in 26th in the number 4.
Andrew Zanto had a tough time at Atlanta. We'll see if he can turn things around. He starts 27th alongside a Shrek 2 Tony Stewart throwback on the 20 of Justin Munsell.
I like that a lot. I didn't get a chance to see that quite yet. 29th place, James Coey in the 24 car. He's right behind and right next to Tommy Ryan in the number 99 on the outside in 30th.
Ryan, the latest winner, won at Atlanta. As we get to the outside of the top 30, Jacob Hudson in 96 lines up alongside the 54 Super of Ryan Swan.
And 33rd place will be Ricky Harden in the number 15, and Mike Tellier in the 47 rolls off 34th.
35th and 36th were to be Christopher Tate and Steve Durham. Durham will start for the pits. Christopher Tate not on the grid.
And behind, Justin Lemke, Russell LePage, they are on the grid, as are Charles Kaneda and Logan Hartman. That wraps up your 40-car grid. 39 on the racetrack. Tate did not make it to the grid at this time. We're down into turn number 3. This race is 130 laps. If it goes green from start to finish, that would bring us to about 1 hour and 4 minutes of coverage on the evening, which should go by pretty quick if we keep things clean and green. Elwood is on the inside in the Swanson throwback in the number 49. Got Elwood's on the hood tonight. Skyly, the points leader. Got that hot sauce on the side. Here we go. Time to go racing. It's Throwback Thursday at Darlington. Green flag flies, and we're racing at the track too tough to tame. Oh, Furnace
in the wall.
John Furnace in the wall hard out of turn 2, bounces off it. He keeps rolling, keeps the car straight, but instantly picks up a Darlington stripe, and a big one at that along the whole right side of the car, Hunter.
Well, better to get out of the way now than, later in the race, but to have that happen on lap 1, that'll be interesting to see how much damage he's got on that number 28 car. But Elwood leads the first lap as the rest of the field looks to get single filed out, and Beckner going to settle in behind Collier.
Yeah, up front, it's Elwood, Skyly, Hearn, Therian, and Mitchell, your top 5 there, Connor, but everyone did a good job avoiding that big stack up.
Steve Durham got out of a pits. He's going to let everyone by, but that's really unfortunate for Furnace. It looked so promising. He got high and had a little bit of a wiggle. When you're close to the wall and have a wiggle like that, you're rarely going to keep it out of the wall. And like you said, Kyle, that's a little bit more than a stripe. That's a lot of damage to the right front and right rear fender and quarter panels there, but he's able to maintain 9th for the time being.
Yeah, we'll have to see in the longer run how that affects the 28 of Furnace as right on board. The back of Seth Noel that is Garrett Grant right behind, looking to close in and get inside the top 10. Grant, now not too shabby this season. Oh, nearly gets into the wall there, and loose car in the back. That's a Shrek 2 car.
That was Munsell, yes, that had a big tank slapper moment, but he keeps it in the right direction, and there's some contact and cars in the wall ahead of him. The 48 of Swervin' Irvin swerved right into the outside safety barrier there, and Zanto also got a piece of it, and I think scattering on the backstretch will come out the other side okay, but tense moments there. Let's have a quick look on the Simrat Market replay here. What happened? Let's skip ahead just a touch and see. Ooh, there was actually some contact here, but I guess not. They go off into turn number 1 and gets up into the outside wall here. Tight. And then everybody scatters. So they did a good job, Connor, but could have been worse.
Yeah, that's why it's so tough to go side by side through 1 and 2. You really don't have room for more than maybe one car through there unless you really pinch that driver on the inside. Irvin didn't do that. He tried to give as much room as possible, but he compromised his own entry and couldn't escape from that wall.
There's AJ Roderick in the 69. Hard to miss that car. Running in the 13th spot. He was all over the bumper of Ryan Chambliss, looking to get around him for 12th on the racetrack, but he's got company right behind him. Ed Robertson in the 64. Boy, that's a really nice pace.
Classic looking lows. Here comes the 16 and Tom Bourne. Side by side off into turn number 1. Ooh, little slide there for Roderick mid-corner, and Robertson's going to go high. Bourne goes low, a little double wide action behind him, and then Travis Beckner sizing both of them up perhaps as they single file back onto the front straightaway. Here comes Beckner to the inside of the 16.
Not going to be able to make the move there. You have to be fully alongside someone with the run into turn 1 if you want them to even think about conceding the position. Not smart to go through there dead even side by side, so best for Beckner to back out there, which he did.
And that's if the guy on the outside backs off. He could just not back off and just be like, all right, well, we're either both going to wreck. I'm not giving you the spot. I'd rather wreck than give it to you.
We might see that later tonight. I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, working our way towards lap number 10. Lead is still Elwood. He's established 0.6 of a second over James Scioli here, Connor. Cameron Hearn rides in third, then Shane Therian in the number 38. He rides in fourth. Let's talk about Therian here for a second. The capability of this driver is insane. First, fourth, and second in 3 of his races, but his other 3, 14th, 23rd, and 38th, been a real hit or miss for Therian so far.
Sitting 8th in the points right now, has that win, so nothing to worry about points-wise, but maybe not what he really expected for the start of this season. Yes, he's got that win to really back him up, but like you said, when he isn't really at the front, he has a lot of issues, had a lot of issues at Atlanta, really didn't even get a chance to compete 2 weeks ago once we were last on track. So he's hoping to get a little bit more consistency going as we get closer and closer to a potential playoff run for him, as he's looking consistent so far tonight. He's been on the rear bumper of Hearn since the drop of the green flag, had a little bit of a run on him even there in the turn number 1, but nothing to constitute any sort of attempt at making that pass.
Well, it looks like they're catching up on Steven Durham real quick. First car already a lap down, so he might go 2 laps down here. Don't know what happened to that one, if he might have gone down pit road, but nonetheless, he's in a hole pretty early.
Yeah, Durham, I think he's had a spin also, but no caution associated with that. Logan Hartman is off track and laps down already. You can see the damage. Don't need the circle probably, but right front pretty well torn up on this car. So some issues for a couple drivers here early, but Darlington tends to take out people in singular groups, Connor. It doesn't seem to be, or singular cars, I should say, doesn't seem to be big group crashes all that often, but they try a lot. Here's Weishart and Rabel side by side.
Weishart able to climb up to the 7th position there. As that, you're so right about that. There's a lot of times when he'll take one person out, and it's like they drop like flies all of a sudden. One by one, people go out of the race as Steve Durham. Don't know how much longer he'll last out there. We're going to have to look at lap traffic all night long, though, especially in the Tuesday night truck race. We saw lap traffic play a big role in things. Multiple drivers who are running top 5, like Colin Farmer, who was running second most of the night, taken out by lap traffic with 25 to go. So that's something we're going to have to look at. And we're going to see how David Weishart feels with traffic. I'm pretty excited to see how he can perform tonight. Led all but 12 laps Tuesday night in the truck race, absolutely dominating. Didn't get the pole tonight, but he's already up 2 positions, Hunter.
And also going to have to keep an eye on Cameron Hearn with lap traffic as well, because he had a really good season too last year. He either ran inside the top 5 or won, or he just got absolutely annihilated by lap cars. I think 4 or 5 separate occasions it was Cameron Hearn versus lap cars. So we'll have to see how he navigates through. So far, I think it's been pretty calm with him in lap traffic this season, as Tom Bourne losing the spot to Ed Robertson, Travis Beckner door-to-door on the outside.
Oh,
Beckner,
tight.
Mentioned it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there he goes in the wall. Mentioned it. That back car on the outside wasn't going to back off. Beckner sliding down there with 7 lanes of pavement and keeps the car straight.
Yeah, he had to chase that one for a while. This was a crash that was kind of, Connor was waiting for it to happen. I could hear his voice, but Beckner did a good job gathering it back up, and he's going to carry on and at least come out the other side okay. As now that's created a little bit of a stack up here. Here's Richard Thomas underneath Forrest Smith in the 84. Pierce Maffitt behind in the 44 now, just ahead of Beckner, who just had that big moment.
Maffitt, one of those guys, you never really see him at the top 10 for a long time. Huge hit to the wall behind him. That was Rigney, who's almost wrecking down the back straightaway, but he's able to keep it straight with a few big hits to the outside safer barrier. But we're talking about Maffitt, he's not a guy you see at the front a lot of the time, but he finishes there. Sort of like what Kurt Busch was doing earlier this past Cup season. He doesn't run up the front for 100% of the race, but he gets the finishes when it matters most. And that's why the 44 is as high up in points as he is.
I think he looked behind him, was caught off guard by Shrek on the hood.
Can't blame him.
It's the power of Shrek 2.
Brian
Superior
Chambliss
movie.
dealing with Ed Robertson and A.J. Roderick behind. These two have had a couple of craps so far tonight. They have not yet quite sorted it out. Robertson is now just squeezing ahead of A.J. Roderick. Completing that pass now as we work lap number 17. And looks like Beckner had a look at Maffitt. Maffitt's in the wall, and there goes the 27.
Go. Nope, keeps it straight. Still green, and Maffitt is still slow into the wall. Out of harm's way, though.
I'll take blame for that one.
Yeah,
Literally just talking about him and tags the wall.
Yeah, he was already loose. Not really a lot Beckner could do. He was already kind of at the limit of cornering there, so that'll call it a day. At least he'll be rolling, but that's going to hurt.
So much for consistency. You can blame that on me, Pierce. I apologize, but I was looking at this battle of Robertson and Roderick, but it's not much of a battle. Looks like they're going to get through all good, as here goes David Weishart as the 96 is back on track. Jacob Hudson's made a pit stop. Another driver caught out by too much damage. As we look at the 33, still trying to move up a few positions. His next target, Colin Fambro.
Yeah, we're in the range now where we're going to start to see the drivers who are better on older tires prevail. Those that are coming, and then those that are going. We're in that stage where we're going to start to see who's got what it takes to at least try to get up to Allen. Now, he's still got at least a 6-car length lead as Weishart looks to the inside of Fambro into 3. Not going to have enough there for the time being.
And up the road a little bit further, Elwood continues to lead, but tell you what, Fambro keeping the pressure on Greg Mitchell here for 5th. Not a lot of movement in the top 5. Now, drivers on Monday complained that they were having trouble passing. It didn't seem like that was really the case. Tonight, though, Connor, it does seem like it's been a little bit more challenging to get alongside and complete a pass. Maybe because these cars are just, the limit is that much more on edge with these cars with a little more power. At least it seems, but like your opinion on how this is going to kind of go on for the race tonight. Our driver's going to fight this car more than the next gen on Monday.
That's going to be tough to say. I think they're really two cars that have separate individual challenges. Really, the next gen, a lot of the issue with the next gen is how those tires, once they're worn, you can't get on the throttle out of a corner or else you're going to snap it, hook it to the outside wall. You could definitely get loose in these things, but it's not going to be the type of snap that you're going to see. Mitchell could be sliding out of 4, but he's still going to be able to keep the power down and likely keep positioning on the 18 of Fambro, for example, but struggled a little bit there. I think the tire wear is going to be a little bit worse. It's going to feel a lot worse in these Xfinity cars than it did in a Cup car. Not saying a lot, but it's going to be tough to keep the tires on this thing and stay fast, as Mitchell finally had no choice to concede, as Weishart's really sideways there. He had no choice but to concede the spot to the 18 as 33 starts to block Noel.
Noel took advantage of that because the 29 of Rabel checked up a little bit from it, and he just kept his foot in it off the corner, picked up a spot. But yeah, you're starting to see the looseness come in with the tire wear. And speaking of loose, look at the back. John Furness, he's rallied up to, well, I don't know if he rallied up to 10th. I don't know if he fell back outside the top 10, but he's holding his own in the 10th spot for the time being after suffering some major damage on the right side of the car on the opening lap.
Yeah, Furness running in 10th right now, hearing that the 35 of Lemke has a pedal issue, so he's going to drop down the order here as we watch the 16 of Tom Board, Collier, Senesac, and Thomas fight here for 15th spot. Scioli, last couple laps, has been a handful quicker than Elwood by about a tenth last time by, so that lead is coming back down. Half a second is the difference now, as Hearn kind of equidistant behind in third, and Shane Therian, Colin Fambro the rest of the top five. It has been pretty spec and standard here since the drop of the green flag, while these drivers towards the bottom half continue to fight pretty tight nose to tail. Rabel now remounting pressure on Greg Mitchell.
Yeah, and it seems like the only reason that Fambro wasn't really pulling away was because Greg Mitchell was really holding him up. He had a tough time getting by him, but once Mitchell got in a little bit of dirty air, it's been really hard struggle for him. Rusty Wallace throwback, by the way. I don't think we mentioned it, but it does look pretty sporty. But what's not sporty right now is unfortunately his pace, as he was fifth, and he's dropping back pretty harshly right now. The times aren't holding up, and Chris Rebel's next in line to take a bite out of this 2 car right now. That would be for the 8th position.
Yeah, just waiting for the right time to strike is Rabel, as the 2, as mentioned, getting slower and slower in lap times on the track. It's a little further up the road. Seth Noel got around him. Weishart and Fambro still holding on to that top 5 spot.
Big slide there by the 93 mid-corner. Wonder if the tires will burn up in the rear as much as they will in the front and make things a little slippier and slidier. Again, this race is going to go by quick. We're still in the early stages of this, but...
Oh, Elwood hit the wall. Excuse me. He was focused on the lap car telling him where to go, and he's put it in the wall.
Doesn't look like there's a lot of damage to this car, but let's see what happened here with the Simrat Market replay. Ooh, yeah, definitely got it.
Listen to the radio. He was telling, I think, Cochran where to go, and just must have lost focus. That's how much you have to focus to keep on track here at Darlington. As I think Pierce Moffitt might have called it a day, as there he goes. He had a lot of damage, was hitting it pretty good a few times. As we look back up to the front, as what that's done, Elwood had a pretty sizable lead over James Scioli. That's pretty much all gone with that mistake.
Yep, one slip up into the wall is all that'll do, and the 7 closing in. Right on board, the Rick's Hot Sauce, number 7 to James Scioli, looking to add a 3rd win on the column for the Lodgebox series. And don't count out Cameron Hearn right behind him, too, because these 2 could tangle. I think Cameron Hearn could just scoot on by, but Cameron Hearn's been able to stay with the 7 to Scioli. Hasn't been up to the bumper, but maintaining that pace. And Shane Therian not too far behind either.
Shane in the 38 running last time by, the 3rd quickest of this front 4, so he certainly has some speed. And other battles that are happening mid-pack, there's a lot of little groups, little 2s and 3s and 4s. There's one for 21st, Michael Leip in the 26, facing Travis Beckner in the 27. He's already had quite the wild night. I'm sure he doesn't want to end up as sideways as he has been twice tonight again, but has to fight off. And I'm sure he'd like a little bit of a reset here, maybe a caution and a chance to get some track position back.
I would think so. I'd also say he's a little bit fortunate. Yes, he's been in 2 or 3 instances already, but it could be much worse damage-wise. Really some right front damage. It's not too bad on the right side otherwise, so he's lost a lot of track position. Looked to have pace early, but he's gotten away with it here. As we look back to this pack, this is a big jumble that's still forming behind Tom Bourne, and this is what happens. This is how these packs sort of get formed. You get one guy at the front that maybe, for example, Tom Bourne at the front of this pack, Hunter Collier can't make that pass happen. It just stacks everyone up. Richard Thomas, Bryce Senesac, Justin Munsell, because of that, have nowhere to go.
Yeah, Collier got into the wall a little bit there, and Thomas going to try and close the gap, but he's got Senesac all over his bumper. Been trying to hang on inside the top 20 that 09 has. Oh, and contact up in front.
Yeah.
I believe that's A.J. Roderick and Ed Robertson.
Yeah, that was certainly interesting, but so is this. For the lead, Elwood and Scioli splitting some lap traffic 3 wide down the front stretch, and Scioli is all over the 49.
I got confused. Russell LePage stopped on the exit of 4, and he's called it a night as well. But this battle continues no matter what, as Scioli had a look to the inside, but I think the 24 helped Elwood out there. But you can see he is struggling. That right front fender dinged in is really hurting his exits, as here comes the 7 again.
Going to try and send it to the inside. Cameron Hearn really closing in. This will be interesting in how this will play out. Looks like the run's going to keep Elwood in the lead for the time being. Cameron Hearn almost got into the wall there with how much of a run he's got. All top 3 are tucked in nose and tail heading into 1.
Going to get really interesting before it doesn't. Still a little ways away from some pit stops. We're not that far off, but not that close either, so we've got some moments to scrap and play around a little bit. I don't think they're going to necessarily settle here. Track position is worth a ton at Darlington, especially if cautions start flying. Scioli gets a great run here on exit. If he can just get the throttle down a little bit sooner, he'll have a run here down the front stretch.
But he's not really alongside. Would this be a position where Elwood wants to back out? I don't think it is. He's got positioning. He's going to fire it to the outside. Can't hold it. Scioli's going to get the spot with a strong move to the inside, and Hearn's going to try to follow. It's going to be tight. They're able to make it work.
Wow.
Hearn had to really jump out of the gas.
And that's going to allow the 7 of Scioli to scoot on by, as that's our first lead change of the night. Elwood going to try and rally the troops back on the bottom, but Hearn all over the bumper, almost pushing him through the corner, riding in car with Cameron Hearn. He's going to jump down to the inside. Stevie has an opportunity to get around Elwood.
Oh, that was really close into turn 1 as well. And again, this is just, you have to treat this like such a long corner because you have to kind of late apex the exit here. You can't just ride it like a normal turn.
Oh,
you see the
Elwood,
67 push on exit, and that's what I was worried about. You have to kind of lift. You can't just commit mid-corner and throttle up like you can everywhere else. And here comes Therian to take advantage of these two guys racing. He'll split the difference and end up third.
You got to think Alan Elwood's kicking himself. He had all the advantage in the road. He had the track position, the clean air, the race lead, a pretty sizable lead. And with one little mistake, putting it into the outside wall, the whole balance shifted on the car and in the race. And now he finds himself outside the top 3 and really, really struggling with that race machine right now.
He's just going to try and preserve all that he can up until the first pit stop. When that's coming, we do not know. Could happen within the next 5 laps. Could happen within the next 20 laps. But Elwood backing off, riding in the 4th position as lap traffic is going to be in the way for these guys up the road.
Scioli is getting to it. And there's a handful of drivers from 33rd on back, so what is that, 7 or 8 drivers that have had damage or have already retired. As Ryan Swan's really low on the front straightaway. I don't know what that was all about. Let's have a look. 54 cars not having a great night.
Back straightaway.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky
He
Hart
gets
behind.
loose. No, off the wall and down into the 4th, 5th lane of racetrack down there.
You know what's frustrating about this place? Is that it is not symmetrical, but both ends look the same on camera. You know what I mean?
They do.
Like,
Yeah, they do look pretty similar.
There's not enough, like, if we, here, let's do this. If we back this up, this could just as easily be the front straightaway as it is the back. There's not,
Really?
not enough defining features. You know what I mean?
Well, it did used to be the front straightaway. Remember,
Right,
they
so that's
changed
even
it
more
out
confusing.
97. Yeah, it does make confusing. Plus, there is a pit road there as trying to focus on. Yeah, blame the, what is it, the minnow pond or whatever. I keep forgetting why they shortened
the
green.
pond.
Fish pond or something.
Fish pond or something. They didn't want to get rid of the pond, so they had to make the turns a little bit tighter. And I think we got to thank them for that because it makes this an absolutely awesome track for racing. One of the most unique tracks on the schedule. Is I was trying to pay attention to that, but I'm paying attention to these drivers again through lap traffic. It's extremely tight with Shane Therian, Alan Elwood, and now Colin Fambro in that mix as well. Scioli had to split some cars 3 wide earlier. These drivers start getting much heavier traffic.
That's Rigney in the wall. I was going to say, I think that pond helps the uniqueness of the track definitely because it's an egg shape, and if that pond wasn't there and they would have just went right over it, this probably would be 1.5 miles. When we were saying at 1.36 miles in length, adding that turn or the wideness of the turn, as we see in 1 and 2, probably would have made this 1.5 mile racetrack.
Well, the other thing that makes this track really unique is the 20 slides in front of Collier for 17th place. That a lot of people, I learned this on a broadcast a couple of years ago. This track was never designed to have this outside groove used. The racetrack was originally designed to be basically here down, but this was supposed to be runoff for safety. Drivers quickly realized that using the runoff with the higher banking was going to be faster. And that's why the track is so narrow in relation to all of its modern counterparts. It was not supposed to be the racetrack, which is one of my favorite facts here, is why this place races so funky. Just imagine this as kind of a 1.5 mile, 1.3 mile flat kind of New Hampshire-y style track. That's originally what the construction was going to be, but with a little extra safety banking.
Kind of reminds me of something I saw on Twitter. How Texas Motor Speedway had the sort of concept where they were going to have the bigger banking for the NASCAR Cup Series.
I just saw that too. Because you posted it probably, right?
I might have shared it in the SimTV Discord. Join that, by the way. Kyle's going to charge $20 for you to be in it now. But It was the concept was the bigger banking was for the NASCAR series, and the smaller banking, which was really the apron, was going to be for the Indy cars, and they would put up temporary barriers as. Never mind that, the caution's flown.
And it is for Tommy Ryan. He's going to get collected by more cars, the 24 and the 96 also involved.
That saved Weishart, I think, from going laps down. He was just entering the pits on entry when that yellow came out. We'll see what happened with the 99. I don't know what happened after, as he's going to hit it pretty good there. Yeah,
so actually the first car to go around there was the 84. Forrest Smith. So there's more to this story. Here's another look on the SimRat Market replay. He was ahead of the 26 car. Gets in the wall, goes off the bumper of the 26, sends the 84 around, then the 99 locks up the brakes to miss him and gets hammered by the 24 and 96.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one for poor Tommy Ryan. He was about to gain control back, and Coe and Jacob Hudson just hadn't slowed down in time, and it's really hurt Hudson more than anyone. He's got no more front bumper, but fortunately, at least it isn't bigger than that, as the entire field is happy to get a few 4 fresh Goodyears.
Well, it's time for pit stops now, and this is going to help Furness, going to help Elwood, going to help all those guys that got damage from hitting the wall earlier, so we'll see how this shakes up the field.
Nope, cars on pit lane now. And this is probably this is right at the beginning of the window. We had a bunch of drivers that were starting to peel off, so solve some issues for some drivers. So they're going to start pitting around lap 45, lap 50. That means I think we'll see one more stop, and that'll be it for the night.
That should be the strategy. To know that fall off is pretty big here, no doubt about it, but the time difference is not enough to constitute an extra stop from here. So if we do go green, one stop at the end as Scioli comes out in the race lead, Cameron Hearn second. Trying to see who that is in third. I believe that's Shane Therian, as Alan Elwood does stay a little bit longer to repair his damage, as did John Furness, as it does help Elwood, but I think it helps Furness a lot more because that right front, even still after he repaired his damage, looks pretty dinged in.
Yeah. Lap 45 of 130. Then, as mentioned, last season had 2 cautions for 8 laps in this race, although we have 10 extra laps this season, so we're already got our first caution here at Darlington. Scioli, Hearn, Therian, Fambro, and Seth Noel looking like the top 5. Elwood drops all the way back to 12th place.
Yeah, so he's probably fixing some of the damage while he has the opportunity to do that. So probably not a bad strategy to get that out of the way. Got a good look at our SimRat Market replay. Fans, be sure to check out simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to help you stay more focused on the racetrack. I just now realized, after reading this a couple of times, that it's not focused on the racetrack, it's focused on the racetrack. You know what I mean? Do you see the difference between the things I just said?
You're going to have to repeat that. I was looking at the 49.
I was reading this as if having a bad paint scheme was distracting. But in reality, what it means is that you're going to make your paint quicker so that you can focus your energy and time on driving. See the difference in those things?
We usually have someone else paint your cars, but you know, I do see what you mean.
But I was confused as to why having an ugly paint scheme would be distracting to me. But now I understand that that's not what that's supposed to mean. So now it makes way more sense, and I'm glad I had that epiphany.
Where'd the phrase come from?
It's from the ad read.
Oh, you're right. I'm too focused on the racetrack.
Custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Focused on.
I see what you mean now. I'm a slow thinker, but I see what you mean.
Me too. It took me. How many months have we been doing the area, and I just figured that out?
Well, you've been doing it longer than me, so you don't have an excuse. Hunter's just thinking about both of us like, you idiots. That's the whole point of this whole thing.
I'm just vibing. I'm just glad to be here.
Love to see
I was just thinking, I mean, like, how ugly does your scheme have to be for it to distract you? Like, you're painting your roll bars neon colors?
We're getting a little too distracted. We've got a race to go here as we're about to go green here.
Going back green, lap 48 will be the restart. James Scioli, Cameron Hearn are your front row starters. Go out of turn number 4. Scioli uses the inside lane. And we're going to be back racing. The track too tough to tame. Green flag back in the air with the lady in black.
Oh, Munsell!
See ya.
Hard into the wall.
That'll hurt.
Spin it out, and that won't be a yellow, I don't think.
Nope, it's way below the racetrack, and he's on the 7th, maybe 8th lane of pavement down there, so no yellow, still green. Skyley going to leave this lap by. I was looking in the back, Light got really close to the wall as well, so did Elwood, but Skyley running away with it as Cameron Hearn, Shane Therian looking to get back.
Oh,
Whoa, right behind Swervin' Irvin. Looks like is that Forrest Smith that was spinning?
Yes, Forrest Smith. By the way, Mike Tellier's livery. How about this? Scott Riggs throwback. Look at that. Look at the flat out logo on that. That is fantastic.
It is absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
Definitely
man.
a Scott Riggs throwback.
Yeah.
24th right now, up 10 spots as a 20 hit, the hard hit, I think, is engine blue, so that might be night done for him.
Oh,
as the yellow's
caution.
out again. Steve Durham. Oh, Scott Riggs barely got through it. Hudson.
Where is this
huge
happening?
hit.
I don't even
Front
know.
straightaway. Steve Durham with a spin, and Jacob Hudson piled in there.
Man,
It's the phantom caution.
I was just having
Front
trouble
straightaway.
finding the location of it. That was challenging.
The flag man's on the front straightaway as we see Steve Durham, Paul Irvin get together, and here comes
Ooh.
Jacob Hudson.
Whoa.
Man, just flying in there. Already, you see he ran into Tommy Ryan on the last yellow, but let's see how this incident started. Durham's been struggling all night long.
Looks like he just gets too loose and
Yep.
just spins. Has help from Irvin, and then they're checking up. And then for some reason, bam.
Yeah. Surely, I suppose he thinks Durham is going to lock it down, but even still, you're this far back. Not to be rude, but you do have to sort of slow down a little bit earlier than this.
Well, we're right on board with Jacob Hudson, see what he saw out the windshield.
Yeah, I mean, from this angle, it's tough.
Understandable.
Yes, Connor,
I get it.
I agree with you for sure. The point at which he had to start braking was probably going to be a little bit treacherous for the car control at the exit of the corner. So I will say that, but I agree with your general statement.
No, I understand it. There's times when if you think he's going to be out of your trail, you don't have to really check up hard. But in that situation, he's the one of Durham, he's still really in the middle of the racetrack. So you do need to get the car slowed down. No matter what your brake bias is, you kind of see what's happening, and you got to have a little bit of a better reaction time than that, because that's what can happen. You end up not with just no front bumper, but no front hood as well, as he's going to probably be out of this race for good.
By the way, a little handy feature. My iRacing reset itself the other day, and it turned on the Logitech keyboard lights, and very handy when the caution comes out when your keyboard just starts blinking yellow at you. So cool feature if you guys have Logitech keyboards. I think there might be some other ones that are supported. Check that option in the options. I think it's now as good time because we just came down to pit lane. Let's go through our livery selection here because I don't want to get to the point where we start losing cars out of the race, and we already have lost a couple, but I don't want to lose the ones that we want to talk about. So, Hunter, why don't you kind of pilot us through the main three that we all had our eyes on?
Well, one of them is that number 49 of Valanoa that we've seen up front for a majority of the day in that Swan number 49 car. I mean, that is Alan Elwood always has pretty good paint schemes, but this throwback one really is up there in our top three. There's a couple more that Connor, Kyle, and I have looked at, and this one really got everyone's attention, the number 16 of Tom Bourne.
Yeah, the 16 throwback here, the Greg Biffle throwback. Love the integration, and Elwood, too, of the sponsors from his car to the throwback. Same with Tom Bourne. And then the other one that we all had our eyes on was Michael Leip's 26. However, I'm going to detract one singular point from this in my mind because it doesn't have the creativity of integrating the other logos, which is why I'm glad I stumbled upon this car because, guys, this is fantastic. Look at the flat-out logo, the attention to detail there, the shading on it. This is incredible, and I got to throw this in my list too.
Oh, it's definitely on the list. There's no doubt about it. I forget the scheme I saw on Tuesday night that had similar integration, but this is pretty much up there. with those. He's even got like the Stanley
Yeah.
logo on the quarter panel. It's absolutely beautiful, and those Scott Riggs paint schemes were just awesome. And I love to see them really redone well. As a few more I'm trying to look at. I really liked Paul Irvin's. That was simplistic. It's not over the top. He does have the Sharpie on the sides, but it does look really solid and it's really well done. As there's just so many impressive ones here tonight. But
So we have one lap. For me, personally, it's between the 16 and the 47. Connor, what you got?
and that I'm looking at it more. I really love that 26, but I agree with you that if he was able to integrate his sponsors, it would be so awesome. But that 47 is so well done. It checks all the boxes for me. If it was a Dodge, I'd say 100%, but even it might still be 100% because that's as close as you can get to a Dodge nose running with the Supra. I think Tellier has my vote.
All right, Hunter, what you got?
I think for me, it's either the 47 or the 26. 26, really well done. 47, it's Scott Riggs. Always like the Scott Riggs paint scheme. Plus, it's red, white, and blue. It's got my vote.
All right, I think the driver we didn't really focus on earlier when we were talking about this in practice, I give it to the 47. I think the integration is what wins this for him over the 26. 16, honorable mention, fantastic work. So same for the 49 of Elwood. Tellier is the winner of the paint scheme competition from here tonight. Of course, there's a fan vote that you can do, as Hunter mentioned, as we're back underway and racing again at lap 55.
And unfortunately, I don't think the 47's part of the fan vote.
Oh, man.
I know. What a missed opportunity, but we still might see one of those Roush throwbacks win it, as looking at a few throwbacks almost in the wall. I think that was Elwood who hit it hard. As they're side by side near the front, that's David Weishart and Seth Noel, who've been battling for position really all night long as they're side by side here behind the 18 of Colin Fambro, Hunter.
I was going to say, it's going to be interesting to see how the 49 of Elwood, if he can get back up to the front with all that damage. I know he repaired some of it, but he's going to have to drive from the back to the front, and especially in this mess. He's in front of this mess, but right behind, you got the 37 to 99, the Ryan brothers. And there's Irvin getting close to the wall, light down low as well. It's really tight back here.
Yeah, it's really tight, but this restart a little bit better than the last, I think, in terms of getting everybody rolling without stacking cars up. So we're moving in the right direction here. Colin Fambro, Seth Noel, side by side. We're actually also closing in on our halfway point, which will be lap number 65. The 18 tucks in behind the 93. Seth Noel had a pretty good run here this stage, 11th to 4th on his evening.
Restarted, I believe. Trying to see where he did restart from. He did restart from 4th. I think he lost those 2 positions on the initial restart, but he got him back from Weishart and Fambro, and he's going to set his way to the front. He's a driver with a lot of speed. He just has not had the finishes in his Lodgebox starts, but he's looking really solid at the track. Too tough to tame tonight. Is the battle for the lead starting to brew a little bit of Hunter. Not exactly there yet, but Cameron Hearn's keeping up.
Hearn is indeed closing in on the 7 of Scioli. He's also got race-winning speed every time we go out here, not only at Darlington, but in the Lodgebox series as well. He's just got to manage to piece it together, and he's currently got a race-winning car underneath that number 67. We ride on board going into 1 and 2. Single file throughout most of the field.
I love turns 1 and 2 here at Darlington, how you just get so close to that wall, you rim ride it, turn it down off the exit so you don't pack the fence. It's just such a fun corner. 3 and 4, I don't think is as fun for me, Connor, but I just watching drivers chase each other through the first end of the racetrack, man, it's so fun to watch.
As a driver, I like 3 and 4 more because it's less stressful. I know I know I can make that line work. 1 and 2 is very stressful for me, especially when I'm battling someone like if I was the 55 battling Richard Thomas, battling Garrett Grant. I don't want to be alongside someone in the turn number 1. I barely get through there on my own because how tight you have to be. It's one of the best corners in NASCAR. It's where you have to be the most precise driver you can ever be. It's what separates good drivers from great drivers. The drivers who can pinpoint those corners perfectly tend to run up front almost everywhere they run.
I feel like it might be a matter of time before the 67 gets around the 7. Saw he had a really nice turn 2 there. As you see, he's trying to get lower than the 7. Not going to have a good exit right here. But he's trying to get lower than the 7. Try to get some clean air. Not that low. But you'll see it here as they work their way into 3 and 4. Just that little bit is all he needs to get some clean air on the nose. And that could set him up for a massive run down the front stretch, but he's going to stay tucked in line for now. But you see he's still trying to get clean air on that front nose.
He's needs some clean air on his season as well. 3 top 10s followed by 3 finishes outside the top 20. And trouble for the 47. And as we just talked about him a couple of minutes ago, now he's had an incident, and this one might take him out here. Connor, what happened?
We'll see here. It looks like a stack up in front of him with Michael Leip, and Ed Robertson just ran into him in a huge hit to the inside wall. I don't know what Leip was checking up for. He was battling with Ryan Swan. He's on the inside. Zanto gets to the outside, and I think he checks up. Let's see, trying to just stay to the inside.
Loose.
Oh, he got loose. And Robertson tried to get to the outside and couldn't. Oh, huge hit. That's at least the second one we've jinxed tonight.
Yeah. Well, at least we got it on camera before it was torn up.
That's a positive, for sure.
In 4K.
Well, 1080p, but we'll get there.
No, give it 2 years.
2 years?
I don't know. I don't know what you're dealing with.
I need like a 4090 to get that. I'm going to step down to 720p to get better performance. Cameron Hearn needs a little bit of extra resolution on that throttle pedal to get up to Scioli here. He's so close. He's matching him and probably is a little quicker here, Connor. Just doesn't have enough pace to get by him easily, but he's still chewing on the rear tailpipe of that 7.
He can just get him a little loose out of the corner. It's what he's trying to do, loosen him up, make him make a mistake, but couldn't get quite close enough through the center there to do anything. But he got a much better exit out of 2. He's eyeing him up. He's trying to set something up, but it doesn't take 1 or 2, even 2 laps to set up a pass at Darlington. It usually takes around 5 just to finally get to the person and then finally set it up to make the actual move, as a few other battles being set up. That battle for third's pretty fierce as well. Shane Therian, Seth Noel, Colin Farrenbo, David Weishart, throw him under a blanket.
I'm kind of surprised he doesn't run the outside line going through 3 and 4. I know the bottom's keeping him in contention for this lead, but at this point, why not try something different? If you lose a 10th or 2, then you could, in Cameron's case, you could easily reel him back in with how fast that car is. As Garrett Grant getting a little sideways there. The 55 of Thomas goes around him. Hunter Collier, Greg Mitchell closing in on the footsteps of Garrett Grant. And now here comes Mitchell to the inside.
In turn 3 here, and I think 3 and 4 is a little bit more multi-groove friendly, especially on exit. You just got less speed to carry. And I think, Connor, going back to what you said, turn 1 and 2, you are pretty much helpless on corner exit. Once you picked your line, the momentum is going to carry you. 3 and 4, you got a chance to catch it. Turn 2, you certainly do not. You get it wrong early in the corner, you're going to feel it later.
And it's very apparent on your exit if you do mess it up. You have that apron there. That dotted line sort of your barrier to know where you need to turn down. That kind of goes away. The seam stays there, but if you're looking at those dotted lines that go away, you're kind of in a bad bind. As that goes away, you miss your bearings. You clip that apron a little bit too hard, it's going to jerk you sideways first, and then it pushes you way up that track, and you better call yourself gone because you ain't going to save it once you make that mistake.
It looks like Scioli's pulled a couple tenths on Cameron Hearn, giving him a little bit of breathing room as Scioli drives away. Therian in third. Then you got a little battle here for him between Seth Noel, Colin Farrenbo, and David Weishart for position. And look who's up to 7th joining the fray, Alan Elwood.
Yeah, trying to recover from that slip up a little earlier in the race, but leading the vast majority of the first part of this, you can't help but feel a little bit bad for him. Had so much pace early, and now the other 2 guys that were chasing him are scrapping for the top spot. But it does seem like those 3, the 7, the 67, and the 49, were probably the safest bet to pick to win this race based on their pace in the first 50 or 60 laps as we are past halfway here.
Yes, here we go. We were talking about why is he on the outside. Well, there he goes. He tries the outside there, gets a good run. He's going to show the nose, show Scioli is there. I wouldn't look to pass him that far back as he doesn't, gets back in line. Kind of hurt his entry into 1 by doing that, though, but showing the nose, letting Scioli know that he is there and he wants that lead.
Yeah, and if it didn't work, he could have just reeled it back in, but I mean, the outside line, it's got that momentum push that can help you down the straightaway. And talk about it, if you're further, well, this is on the inside, if you're further enough on the inside, that car on the outside has to back off. But if you get a strong enough run on that top, then you could have the advantage going into the corner.
Nip and tuck for the top spot, and for 4th, Bambro and Weishart still scraping away for positions. And how about John Furness and Travis Beckner? Furness, lap 1, put himself in the fence, and that damage, I think, has really helped prevent him from moving forward. I just might have been a race-winning car, but we never really got the chance to see it. Here's Greg Mitchell to the inside of Senesac. Bit of a daredevil race into.
Yeah, that was extremely close. It looked like Senesac was protecting, and Mitchell really tried to force the issue. He is faster than Senesac as he's going to go to the inside. 13th position, that's what the battle's for. They're going to, almost make contact. Mitchell trying to get as close to that left rear quarter panel as he can. Just doesn't have the positioning, and that's going to put him at risk of getting passed by Travis Beckner.
Ooh, Collier got a little loose there. Coming out of 2 is going to allow the 09 of Senesac to close in just a tad bit. And there's Furness really looking to the inside. Wanting to get around the 27 of Beckner. Can't really find a way. Can get up alongside of him, but needs that horsepower down the straightaway to get it, and it's not there. So he's trying to side draft, trying to stay with the 27, going into the corner. He's going to have to back off.
Furness gave him the door just a touch down the straightaway, but no avail. Senesac a little slow off 2, and that's going to bring Mitchell right back. Mitchell's been better at a 2, but then he gets to 3 and can't commit enough to get overlap on that 09. By the way, Senesac has that Sharpie livery I was talking about.
And always looking solid. It's always been a good paint scheme on the 09 all season long, and he's doing a good job sort of planting his car where it needs to be. Not as strong out of 2, but just barely moving a little bit lower down the backstretch to kind of force Greg Mitchell's hand out of making a move that aggressive with still only about 55 laps to go. As here goes Furness to the inside of Beckner again. 2 battles in a single group happening simultaneously. Make it 3. Hunter Collier dropping back to these guys as that pack has really dropped back the rest of the field. The top 10, a few 2 to 3 seconds above that group right now as that battle for the lead kind of fizzled as Scioli's got a bigger gap now.
Furness looking to get the pass done. He does get it around Beckner. Bourne looking to do the same. Going to try. Nope, not going to be there. Coming out of 2. Going to tuck back in line. Senesac now going to look as we look at a replay of this pass. On board Beckner. 28 just slides up right in front. There was a little bit of contact there. That's Furness trying to clear himself. And with the night he's had, he's trying to do whatever he can, even if that means shutting the door shut right on the front bumper of Beckner.
Yeah, the 98's proven to be the cork in the bottle here right now. He's stacking up a group of cars behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And Mitchell had nowhere to go, so he's bailed out of making this pass for at least a second. Here comes Senesac. He'll give it a go.
Yeah, it's probably Mitchell's best bet. Let 09 do the work, and if you can get back to 98, take advantage of the tire. He used up. Collier's in the wall. That may make the pass a little bit easier for Senesac, but it's no, Collier. A little bit of wall pop, it could never hurt, I suppose. It's going to, not intentional either, but that can happen sometimes. The 98 is going to try to battle back. That's not going to work.
Oh, there goes the 2.
There goes the 2.
And
Beckner
crash.
gets into it. Bourne. Look out, everyone. Caution's back out. 3rd caution of the night. Saw that coming.
Yeah, 2 wide doesn't work there. Really ever. That was bound to happen.
Yeah, this is just a little bit more extensive stack up, but chain reaction, just one guy slides up a little too much, but Senesac just sends it in there, runs the 98 up into the fence, and then off the 28 was where the 2 got hit. And of course the 16 and 27 got a piece of that as well, and Tom Bourne got the inside wall just. But that was a frustrating scenario for Ducar in particular. Not really his fault, but just got wadded up here.
Yeah, Senesac just never really made the bottom, and not even just that, he got sideways. He fired it in there so hard to try to clear the 98 and slide up in front of him, and just absolutely walloped him into the wall. And poor Greg Mitchell worked so hard to not be in that position, to get by Senesac, to not be in that spot, but unfortunately he really gets the worst of that with a few big hits, as everyone else can get another set of good years.
This will be it, I think, right? 50 laps to go, roughly. This should be our final stop.
We go green for sure, but you never know what's going to happen if we get yellows later in the race. This should leave drivers with 2 more sets after this, so they'll have tires to play with if we get yellows at different spots.
Just like Monday night, I feel like we'll have a late race yellow within the last 15, maybe last 10 laps or so. But these guys do have enough fuel to go to the end. Tires going to be concerned if we get those late race yellows. And waiting to see the battle off of pit road. It's going to be the 7 of Scioli, Hearn, Therian, and it looks like Colin Fambro got 4th at the end right there, and Seth Noel, top 5.
Look at your runners as they roll out of pit lane. While they do that, rickshotsauce.com. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in innings. That's Rick's Hot Sauce.
Senesac getting the EOL for that one. Unsurprising, but a little bit too overzealous in the turn 1, which is easy to happen. We saw how much the 98 was really slowing that pack down, and that can happen a lot. It can't happen at a track like this, but it does happen a lot. You lose your patience, try to do something over the top a little bit too much, Hunter, but a track like Darlington, you can't have that happen. You got to keep a level head at all situations because you don't have any room for error, and when you go in with a hot head trying to make a pass, that type of stuff is always going to happen.
Scioli's internet.
Speaking of air, it's starting to blink.
Yeah. Well, it's stabilized now, but for a moment, Hunter, that certainly was concerning.
Yeah, that could open up the door for anyone, really. I mean, could open up the door, obviously, for Cameron Hearn. But Shane Therian's kept up with the 67, and we know that Fambro, Seth Noel, and David Weiss are pretty fast cars. Alan Elwood, who knows if he's still got some speed under there, enough race-winning speed. Still got a top 10 car. But with that damage, slowly repairing bit by bit, we'll see if that 49 can work its way inside the top 5 and possibly have a shot at claiming victory here for the 2nd year in a row.
So 50 laps to go at the stripe this time by. That's about 24 minutes worth of racing. We go back green if we go green at the end. I think if we get one more caution around lap 100, that'll probably be it. I wonder when the latest opportunity would be for people to want to take tires, Connor. I'd say if you've got more than 10 laps, you'd take tires. Otherwise, you'd probably not. But track position matters a lot more than it has at other tracks we've been at. So, I mean, when is that cutoff, you think?
I think if we get a decently sized run, maybe about 20-25 laps, you're taking your last set. I think the cutoff, if we get a yellow at 110, that's probably going to be these drivers' last opportunity to pit or stay out. I don't see if a majority of people stay out and you pit at around 120, even though you're going to have fresher tires, how hard is the pass here? I don't see you being able to pass that many cars at a track like this. I think 110's the cutoff, but we'll see what these drivers have in mind.
Yep, going to be about 49 laps to go when they cross the stripe. Scioli on the bottom. Going to have to pay attention to this restart because that lead car just launches as soon as they get into the box.
Here we go, lap 82. 49 laps to go. Back up onto the front straightaway, flag in hand to the starter. Scioli, Hearn, Therian, Fambro, Noel, your top 5. Green flag back in the air, underway again. Oh, crash!
Oh, that's Beckner in the wall.
Big time.
Everyone's still going. He's missing the front nose, but he's still going.
That was contact from Jeff Ryan in the turn 1.
I think they've sorted it out now. I don't.
Yeah.
Sorta.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, the 15 sideways out of 4. I guess sorted out is a relative term.
You got sorted out in the middle. They sorted out in the back. Oh, that is tight. Seems like that is Jordan. Is that Jordan Martin in the 45? No.
It's Charles Canada.
Charles Canada. Every time we see Jordan Martin, he runs that paint scheme.
Uh-oh.
Whoa. That
Rewind.
is way too low.
That's
Get
not
back up. Get back up.
That
Do
is
not
not
do
a
that.
groove. That is not a groove, I don't think.
No, that's 7 lanes below the below the racing line.
That's how they intended that track to be ran, though. Kyle said it earlier. Tom Bourne is taking the legal route.
Yes.
Into turn 1 again. The 16 right up against the fence. The 15 with them. Up front, Scioli, Hearn, Therian, no changes there. The 5 car in the wall, everybody scatters. The 55 and, whoa, the 2 behind him. The 26 bailing out of line 2.
No, it's getting crazy.
That ain't going to work, guys.
Paul Evans is
Whoa. There's a car slow, really slow on the apron
Ryan
in the
Swan.
back.
He's just
I'm
getting
not
out of
sure.
the way. He's
I was about to
stopping,
say,
actually. No, he's not taking that line.
I was about to say, it
At
looked
this
like he was
point-
spinning out.
They're going to be doing laps around the infield if they keep going down any lower.
I wouldn't be opposed. That'd still be pretty exciting. My goodness, everyone, under 50 to go. Gosh, it's time to go.
Yeah, we're definitely getting another yellow at this rate, but I've
Oh,
been
you
wrong
had
before.
any doubts?
I mean, maybe. We've seen there's a lot of green flag racing tonight, so who knows? We haven't had any green flag pit stops, though, which is a relief for everybody else to not have to deal with that. We saw some drivers practicing that in practice, but it's something a lot of people forget to do because pit road here is such a challenge. The 18's in the
pit
wall
road in the
pretty
wall.
big time out of 2.
It's another front runner to get their stripe. You get so close to 1 and 2. That right rear kicks out a little bit. That can happen, and it's going to cost him 2 spots here. And that promotes David Weishart to the 4th position. We're talking about green flag pit stops. Saw them last night, but no strategy could beat this guy last night. Led all but 12 laps 2 nights ago in the truck series, and slowly but surely, he's making his way up to the front of the clean race car.
How much longer will it be clean, though? I mean, we've seen Fanbro keep it out of the wall all night long until just a few moments ago, and Ryan Swan, well, done.
Like that. Up front, Scioli, Hearn, and Therian's back in the mix now, interestingly. But there's still some battles we got to keep our eyes on, like this one. 5 cars into turn 3.
This has all the makings of going wrong. Beckner and Senesac. Senesac caused the last yellow. Beckner was a victim of it. For Smith, Hunter, Collier. Collier was in it as well. And Jeremy Rickney just trying to recover to find something to find positive out of this race. He's 4 laps down. Beckner's in the wall.
He is really in the wall, trying to get out of it, but he's just stuck in it. Oh, he's going to stay out of it there coming out of 2. Sometimes they just smack it on the corner exit. Nonetheless, still going. That is the 41 of Rigney down low on Collier.
Lady in black has a tight grip sometimes. Hits ya. And for the lead, Hearn right back on Scioli here. And these two, has been nose to tail, but this time Hearn's got to run. He's going to have overlap, and he's going to drive off into 3 with a little bit of overlap and try to get it back mid-corner here, Connor, right to the quarter panel at turn 4.
He's just using his advantages at the wrong time. He is so much stronger on the short run out of turn 2 than James Scioli, but cannot get enough overlap to stick to the inside. And I think Scioli felt the pressure. He drove in hard into turn 3 to keep the inside line to himself, as we'll see what he can do out of turn 2 this time. Scioli's pretty clean out of there, but Hearn, you see, just pushing a little harder to get that run. And meanwhile, don't look now, but Shane Therian's staying in check with them right now, as well as David Weishart trying to catch them.
Yeah, all these guys running head and toe right next to each other. Weishart closing in. Don't count out Seth Noel. And once these guys get all single filed out.
Car in the wall. AJ Roderick and Caneda's crashed hard. Yellow's out.
Look out. Back in front of
Ryan.
the field. Oh, man. Well, forget everything I was about to say because the caution's out.
40 laps to go. Charles Caneda smashes the wall in the front straightaway after contact with the 69. Roderick loose. Back across the road, and then clobbers Caneda, who just absolutely obliterates that inside wall. Tags the third. Is that the 99 or the 37?
Wow. 37. Jeff Ryan. Wow, was that Paul Irvin? I think he went swerving to avoid that one. It looked like he did a good job, but Roger trying to get the run on Grant on the outside. Tries to throttle up, doesn't have it collected. Caneda has nowhere to go. Neither does Tom Horn. What a hit. What a hit. And Jeff Ryan just wrong place, wrong time.
It looked like the 45 got into the back of the 69, which is what led him into the outside wall.
I think he might have been able to hit it. He might have wanted to hit it anyways with how sideways it got, but we'll see what Jeff Ryan sees on the SimRack Market replay. He sees a car to the inside. There's room on the outside to get through. Nope, here he comes, and just really bad timing as the field is going to come to pit road. Scioli and everyone's going to pit.
Really?
Alan Elwood's going to stay out.
I'm a little surprised. Okay,
Whoa,
so I'm not.
Therian.
I am
That
not
was a late
surprised
one.
to see drivers stay out. I am surprised to see pit stops. We're just on pit lane. I know there's some fall-off guys, but at this stage, we're likely to see another yellow. I guess I don't see the motivation on coming to pit lane now versus maybe waiting another 10, 15 laps for the next one.
Trying to look at the times. The times dropped off Seth Noel's. It looked like he had 0.3 between his fastest lap on that run and the lap right before the yellow.
Also in traffic, though, consider that. It's not
true.
Right after the restart there, you're not in clean racetrack, so you don't have can't get your full potential. So
Scioli's were about 3.5 tenths slower as well as Seth Noel. It's actually going to take 2 tires to get the advantage on Scioli. Everyone else takes 4. I don't know about 2 tires here.
No, again, I don't know about 4 either. I'd rather have 4 than 2 though, and it only gained Seth a couple of spots. And again, this is like a non-committal strategy, right? You either go none or 4, but be right in the middle of both groups, and only have 2 tires. You got.
Doesn't look like many people stayed out, though. It looked like more stayed out.
5 stayed out. But that's, I mean, again, we don't have that many laps to go. We'll probably get another caution or 2. So the thought is here, or if it's a full caution fest, you just stay out, you nail the restarts, and then you drive around under caution and bring home the win, like we've seen a couple times this season. The other strategy is it goes green, which I just don't think 4 tires are that big of an advantage after only a few laps after restart. I can be proven wrong. I'm not sure. I would have been not surprised to see nobody pit there.
I'll go over to Hunter. Me and Kyle have went back and forth already. What do you think of here, Hunter? We're going to go just over 35 laps to go. If it goes green, no good for the guys who stayed out, but we've seen this before in the Lodgebox series. I think we saw it at IRP. You stay out, you get that track position, the yellows start raining down, and you're in a good spot. What do you think? Is it going to be anything like that tonight, Hunter?
See, this is tough because if we go green to the end, then obviously the guys that took tires are going to benefit from this. But if we get just rapid cautions in the very end, I don't know if those that just came in and took tires are going to be sitting in a pretty comfortable position. Knowing what we know about older tires here and how quickly they wear and how much of an advantage newer tires are. If this goes green, though, then it will help those that just came down Perry Road. But honestly, I'm on the fence with this one. It's like a 50-50.
We'll see how it pans out. We're going to lap 95 here. We should get the 1 to green and restart with 35 laps remaining. There's the 1 to green. Fans, be sure to check out areiaracing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more at areiaracing.shop. All right, well, we got what we needed to get in. See what the drivers have left. Alan Elwood will restart on the front row. I liked this call for him in particular. Get that track position. You've had trouble tonight. I like it for Shane Therian as well. Track position, and he's got speed. So we'll see how this pans out. I think that if we get one more yellow in about 10 to 15 laps, everyone would pit again anyway. And I think at that stage, if you were to stay out, probably be a mistake, depending on how many people come to pit lane. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will have to see. But if we get maybe 5-lap run in a yellow, another 5-lap run in a yellow, does that really seal these drivers' fate who stayed out? Do you really have that opportunity to pit again? I don't think you do. We'll have to see. And
maybe those extra heat cycles, though, will kind of end up evening things out, too. So many variables. It all depends on how many crashes we have left in the queue. I don't think we have a ton. Might be 1, might be 2, might be more. But here we go. Green flag back in the air, back underway at Darlington.
You can already tell this is not going to be pretty coming out too.
It already doesn't look pretty.
What makes you say that, guys? Oh boy, that probably.
Yeah, that would do it, but here comes Noel. Wasn't sure about the 2 tires, but he has got positions from it, but Cameron Hearn is following him right through, but it's now Richard Thomas in between the 93 and a 67 as the battle for the lead heats up.
Oh, they're in the wall. There they go. Come on, that's going to be a big one.
There they go.
That's a huge one, Bruin. Here comes everyone to pile in.
Oh, man.
Oh, look out. Whoa. Well, you know what they say. Cautions breed cautions. We got ourselves another caution.
I don't even know where to look. Break this one down.
Probably.
Looks like it started with the 18.
Yes. And then
On
everybody just goes spinning and sliding, spinning like a ballerina.
So look, we're going to have to break this down in slow motion. So he's dead sideways.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Forrest Smith to his inside. Scioli's right here. The 18 goes back in the wall. Scioli, does he get through this?
Yes.
Yeah.
The 25 gets stacked up
Whoa,
here.
look at Weishart.
Oh, I couldn't avoid him. And Chambliss checked up, and Chambliss checking up because of the incident is what set off the very back of things. The poor 26, one of the best looking cars of the night with big damage. Tommy Ryan, Tom Bourne, Ed Robertson, Bryce Senesac, Hunter Collier. That's what we call a Darlington big one.
And the 64 are back across the road here. I think the 4 should get a pretty good perspective of most of this. He was kind of behind a lot of it, but they'll all be out the windshield, which means it'll be easy to kind of see the scale of this accident.
Checking up. Big hit for the 26. Look out.
Bumper cars.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Got through it. Found the hole. Good job.
From up above, you just see everybody spinning, smashing. Right here, it all becomes bumper cars. Right
Oh,
here.
look at the 47.
Whoa,
Oh,
Tellier.
yeah, he did a great job there. He's 8 laps down, too.
I was saying it was about to be a big pile because I saw him kind of driving through it. Let's see what he sees. I don't know if he saw a gap and just went for it. Yeah, That's what he did.
Holy
what a
cow.
job.
It's the power of Scott Riggs.
Said no one ever, but it worked. It works tonight.
Oh, man.
Is
All
he
right.
a truck champion? I keep forgetting. I think he might be, which is kind of funny to think about, but definitely, I think the highlight of his career is that paint scheme, not the truck championship. Mike Tellier doing it justice.
All right. Well, caution is out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
Here's a look at your race analysis. That's not the right one. The race recap is what we want. 32 laps to go. 5 yellows. Only 3 leaders and 2 lead changes. And this is our 3rd leader. That is driver number 38.
Look at you go, Shane.
So re-rack him, restack him. We'll go again. But Scioli didn't go anywhere. Didn't have a chance to. And now we've got 5
He
or
almost
6.
went backwards.
Right, we've got 5 or 6 fewer laps now. This is that scenario that I was talking about where if it just kind of goes yellow, 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 you don't really ever get a chance to use those fresher tires, and now you've got a heat cycle on them that you didn't have before.
The only bad thing about that for the guys who stayed out is that a lot of the drivers that were in that had no tires. Like, I believe, I don't know, did Fambro have tires? I don't remember, but that wreck happened at the front, and a lot of the guys who have new tires were able to gain a few spots. But more importantly, Seth Noel thought the tires would be a mistake, but it looked like it held up well for at least a lap. Got him to 3rd. Cameron Hearn will be behind him on fresh tires. So no tires on the front row. Then Richard Thomas in 4th also on no tires. Forrest Smith as well. So the inside row is full of tires. The outside row not so much. So interested to see if we see the 38 go picking the outside line here.
See how things pan out here, Hunter.
I was saying, going to have probably 29 to go when they get the green flag. Those drivers that had newer tires on that last pit stop under the second to last caution, they're closer towards the front. Saw Seth Noel, although he took 2 tires, he's closer. Cameron Hearn as well. Scioli really close now. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys go. And is that the 18 of Fambro?
Yes,
On
he's
the
on the
bump?
8. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Let's say he is on the lead lap.
I don't think
Unless
he-
he's
So
protesting
he
the
is 1
position.
lap down
Oh,
in
okay.
the free pass position. Look, the rear end of this thing has, whoops, that's not what I wanted to show. The rear end of this thing is a little second hand. Wow, that thing is punched. It looked like he backed into a telephone pole.
I don't. Yeah,
Or got
there's no
shot
other
with
way
a
to put it.
silver bullet or something.
That was a big old bullet for sure, and it took a bite out of the 18's rear end. And it's unfortunate. Just like Tuesday night, he was really top 5 the entire night, and lap traffic took him out Tuesday night. This time, just a little bit too loose, trying to go for it. Knew that could have been the final run to the end. Trying to get everything he could, and got a little bit loose. As he'll have to fight to get that lap back, and you'll have to fight to get more positions. As we're about to go green with 29 laps to go.
Time to go back racing, and laps are clicking down here. About 15 minutes worth of racing left on the board. Shane Therian is in command. He's on the outside this time, and we're going to get back underway here at Darlington. Green flag back in the air. Good launch. We'll stack up in the outside, though, behind the 24 of James Coey. The 5 drops to the inside, but otherwise we're clean and green and away.
Oh, Elwood really. Noel really forced the issue, trying to go sort of 3 wide on Elwood, but it didn't work.
55.
Thomas, poor Smith in the wall.
Look out, everyone behind. You see how low they have to go to avoid hitting the 84. It's going to be really interesting. Right behind him, they're going to try and get it all up into 2 lanes. Man, chaos ensues.
It's not done yet.
He just needs a couple laps to sort out, and I think lap 1 was a little wild, but lap 2 might be better.
They're 3 wide and 1 and 2. I don't know about that.
I'd look out for Beckner. He might be in a bad spot here.
Oh.
Whoa. Nope. Kept it out of the wall. Hudson is there on the bottom, waving everyone by.
And all the while,
Therian, the leader's in the wall.
Yep, here comes Alan Elwood to the top spot, and Seth Noel comes into second, but Cameron Hearn is fourth,
Caution.
and the caution is out. Jeremy Rigney's stopped mid-track.
Rigney, Leip, Tellier, Cochran were there as well.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, Tellier couldn't
really
miss that
bad.
one.
It's a shame.
Does
Blocking.
16 have some help here?
No,
yeah.
that's a... Yeah, he
Oh.
gave him a big amount of help. That was Leip trying to protect and block, and
Ow.
Tom Bourne was having none of it.
Oh, man, 47. Yeah.
Hellacious
Poor
hit.
Rigney had nowhere to go.
By the way, this makes me recall a very specific memory, and if anyone remembers the same moment, then by all means speak up. But I think it was Las Vegas, 2007. Jamie McMurray had a incredible slide just like that. He saved it, but it is on YouTube somewhere. And I remember this specific moment because I saw it a couple years later on YouTube, and it was the highest resolution video I felt like I've ever seen. But it was from 2007, and that shocked me and took me by surprise. So while we're waiting under yellow, I'm going to go look for that. It reminded me of something very...
I believe it was 2009. Joey Logano hit
Oh,
him
maybe
into
it was.
turn 1, and he drifted that thing as... Was that the 16 getting a lucky dog? I don't know, but that was 09, and he slid that thing all the way through 1 and 2. Yes, Tom Bourne did get the lucky dog as he just...
I'm going to
slid
get
that thing
copyright
all the
strike
way
for this,
through.
but here we go. That's
There
what I was remembering.
Yep, right there. And it's one of the best saves you'll ever see. That right rear must have been dying after that, but
Yeah, here it is.
yep. Logano up the track, and look at that thing hold.
Boy, look at Michael Leip drive that thing in the middle of 2.
Go, Michael, go!
Oh,
Munsell got
boy.
into him a little bit there.
Well, multitasking aside, that's what that reminded me of, but 26 didn't save it that time.
Let's see if new tires can save Shane Therian. Didn't really get a good look of it, but all on his own, sort of like we saw the 49 of Alan Elwood do earlier. Overcooked it into 3 and just hit the wall. Put him back to 3rd, and he felt like, what the heck, I might as well take my tires now. So likely his final stop from here on out, and that'll put him very far down the order.
20th.
All right. So, as I mentioned, cautions breed cautions. How does this help the 49 of Alan Elwood? I mean, he got around the 38 of Therian because he was in the wall. But Seth Noel, Cameron Hearn, Garrick Rance up here. Huh.
Yeah, this doesn't
There he
help.
is, P3.
This doesn't help the 49, and here's why. Here's a look at Elwood's stint information. Last pit stop 27 laps ago. Guy that was starting, in theory, right behind him. Last pit 13 laps ago. So now that little bit of a gap they had, gone. So assuming that there is a slight speed difference here, Cameron Hearn's going to have the advantage. And Seth Noel is probably not going to pose much of a threat to Cameron, I think, at this stage. Cameron Hearn was also one of the fastest cars prior to all this late race yellow stuff, so keep that in mind.
And Scioli just hasn't had the same luck getting through traffic. And it was really that first incident off of turn number 4. He had to check up to avoid contact. That's what really put him behind Hearn specifically. Noel took 2 regardless. So Scioli, it definitely looked that 67 had maybe the tiniest of advantage, but they were very, very even. But the 67 now has the track position. And between the 67 of Hearn, the 7 of Scioli, and even the 93 of Noel on 2 tires, it's a race to see who can pass the 49 of Alan Elwood first.
Well, that outside line is going to be in a bit of a pickle with the way these restarts go. So really, it might be Cameron Hearn. We'll have to wait and see what the 7 of Scioli does. But hey, don't count out the 99 of Tommy Ryan.
Look at the 3 lined up on the inside lane. Those are the 3 cars that have been the most dominant tonight at different varying stages. Although I don't think Cameron Hearn's actually really led a lot. or none. But he's been up there.
He's led at all.
Nope. He's been up in the mix, though. Let's say dominant in second or third place.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can get to the lead. Noel's not going to get a good jump on that outside, but we'll see how much the tires hurt Elwood's jump. This could really help Cameron Hearn to be right behind him.
All right, here we go. 12 minutes is what it'll take under green. Here comes Elwood and Noel. Elwood trying to get his third victory on the season. Same for Scioli. Green flag is back in the air. And now just 23 laps to go.
It's as smooth as they look so far coming out too. Oh, as soon as I say that, three wide.
3 wide.
Someone's got to back off. It's Furnace.
Whoa, the 48 and the
Whoa!
2 almost had contact. Whoop,
Oh.
there's 38 in the fence. Oh, no!
and he turns
no!
him.
Not Coey.
That was
Caution.
Poor Jim
blatant.
Coey.
Yeah, what was going on there?
I don't know. We'll have to see, but that we caught the end of it, I think.
Oh, that
Coey into him.
Yep.
Darian responds very
Well.
obviously.
Well, that reminds me of another specific moment.
That
You know what
happened
I-
only about 2 months ago.
No, I was thinking of a different one here at
Oh,
Darlington.
I know what you mean. I was thinking of, I'm a Larson fan. So that's
You know what I'm
thinking of.
remembering now?
Oh, I know what you're remembering. That one was more blatant, believe it or not.
You remember that one, Hunter, the one I'm referencing?
With Larson and
No,
Vegas
no,
with Bubba?
no, I'm talking about Darlington.
No. Oh.
About a decade, or a little more than a decade ago.
Harvick and Bush.
There you go.
Ding, ding, ding.
There we go. Yeah. See, I'm still caught up with history.
We just have very representative looking accidents tonight.
That one, that's what happens when you take tires and you're kind of on your own. You put yourself in that mess. Darian did that. Coey drifted up. It was definitely Coey initiating the
Oh.
contact, but
Really?
can't do that. Alan Elwood's going to pit
And
with
he's
20
gonna
laps to go.
Bring just the 55 with them. That is
Wow.
weird.
Wow. I was not expecting that at all.
So now if we go on a green flag run to the finish, well, unlikely we do, but if we do, this could put Elwood in a good position. Granted, he's going to make
Maybe.
up a bunch of spots throughout the field, but
It's going to get buried. There's a lot of cars staying out this time.
Yes.
By the way, just to point out, that is a definite parking of the 38. Shane Theory and done for
Oh,
the night.
yeah. I mean, maybe it was worth it, but
I don't know. I mean, he has a win. Sure, he can do it, I guess, but definitely can't do that. And
you can't.
is definitely
Should've done a-
rewarded with the rest of the night off.
Yep.
should have just done a Matt Kenseth. Oh, I cut my left front. I couldn't turn it.
Oh, he had fresh tires. That ain't flying here.
That is still my favorite, my favorite
Oh,
excuse
man.
ever.
I miss
love
Matt
Dale
Kenseth.
Jarrett.
Joey Logano,
I love Dale
Martinsville.
Jarrett on NBC, like post race, how he was just talking all this stuff about Matt Kenseth. You didn't cut your tire down. You're lying, and it's just funny because obviously he's lying, Dale Jarrett. You really think he's being serious? That's Matt Kenseth humor in a nutshell, though.
Incident aside, Matt Kenseth's humor in response to that made me a fan of Matt Kenseth.
Yes.
Oh, he made a lot of fans.
It's
in
just that
Virginia
dry
day.
Wisconsin humor thing, like a real thing. If people know people from Wisconsin, they'll know. I know other people from Wisconsin that are the exact same, and it is very entertaining every time.
You know what color Wisconsins love the most?
Yellow.
Yes. Cheese!
Oh,
And the yellow's out. 19 to go here at Darlington. Cameron Hearn going to restart as the leader. Not this time by, next time by. He'll get the one to go. Got to think that Cameron Hearn is sitting in a pretty good position, although he's going to have the 7 of James Scioli restarting behind him. And we know that he's still got race-winning speed underneath that 7.
Was it? If we think back to IRP, was it not Alan Elwood with the call to stay out and keep track position to win that race? I might be remembering incorrectly.
was that the one that he tangled with the 38 also?
I think the 38. I think it was Hearn and Therian who came together at the end of IRP.
I love how I can remember a very distinct moment from NASCAR history from 12 years ago, but struggle to remember something that happened 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, this was literally only 3 weeks ago. But yes, it was Elwood. He made really a similar call with it was after a long green flag run, and then we got a yellow. Everyone pit for tires, and a little bit of a shorter run. He stays out. A lot of people like Cameron Hearn pit, and he's able to hold on as the yellows start to rain down, and he's able to win the race. It was looking like it was about to play out the same exact way, but he saw fresher tires on the row exactly behind him with 20 laps to go, and he bails out. Still really shocked by that move, Kyle.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it sorts out. All right, guys. I know it's chaotic. Let's pick a winner. Hunter, who you got winning this thing?
I'm going to go with the 67 of Hearn. He was my second in command if anything happened to John Furness, and a lot has happened to John Furness, but I'm going to stick with the 67 Cameron Hearn.
All right, I'm going to pick the 7. I think Skyoli is lined up right in the right spot. I think he'll get a good restart here, and I think he'll be knocking on the door to get by the 67 later in this race, Connor.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cameron Hearn. I just don't think Skyoli has enough of an advantage over the 67 to do anything. None of us picking Noel, still second, but on 2 tires, going to really struggle if we get any sort of green flag run. My pick is the 67.
I think the 7's advantage here is just the fact that he's led laps tonight, and Cameron Hearn has not really led a significant amount. So I think the 7 is just faster, tires aside. We'll see if that works out for him. 17 laps is all that remains here at Darlington. Remember our rule, 1 green, white, checkered. If we can extend the race distance once, but not twice. Green flag in the air again and back underway again. Elwood drops to the inside behind David Weishart. He needs to go, go, go if this goes green.
Skyoli, big restart. Immediately clear for the second position over Noel as the top 7 or so get single file. It's a madhouse out of turn 2.
Being led by Cameron Hearn. Got a little bit of a gap between he and Skyoli. Moving a little further back now. Elwood, fresher tires right behind Beckner without a front bumper. It'll be interesting to see how he navigates through. Going to move to the bottom, back to the top. Doesn't know what to do. Going to give the momentum push to the 33. This is going to get interesting going into 1.
And so far, Elwood not gone super far, but obviously is quick. Skyoli now fending off Seth Noel, but comfortably in second. We go back to this one. Oop, 4 cars a little loose out of 2. Here comes the 64 of Robertson to the inside of Smith. Cars have both been banged up a couple of times tonight. Elwood up to 12th, though. I don't know if he'll get there if we go green, but if he can take 2 or 3 cars at a chunk at a time, Connor, and get a yellow or 2, he might be in a great spot. Seth Noel dropping off the timing screen. Sorry, Connor.
I was going to mention that. He got a restart violation. It was reviewed. It was shown to be upheld, and he just hit the old Alt F4, and he's not going to see the
the 84 is sideways for Smith. Great save.
Wow. That was a heck of a save. I don't know if anyone else saw how sideways he was, but that was incredible. Unfortunate for Seth Noel, but meanwhile, Forrest Smith saves a race car as they still battle side-by-side Weishart and Beckner, the modified, doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's a shame to hear from Steph Noel. I know they don't like when drivers all have 4 out, so that's probably not going to go over well.
Beckner.
Oh, Beckner really sideways. Hey, now. I know he loves running on dirt, but no, you don't got dirt here as Elwood continues to move up through the field, now up to 9th.
Elwood moving pretty quickly here now. Still a little bit of scrapping behind.
Oh, no.
Going to dive 3 wide here into turn 1.
Oh, yes.
And he'll take 1. Maybe can he get 2?
He should have him at a 2 here, I think. Senesac doesn't have the grip like that. He's going to get it. That was aggressive, but at this point, you got to have to. You can't say it's too aggressive.
No.
You're only 13 to go. You got to go.
Got to go anytime. But especially now, it's really go time for the 49 of Elwood, and you got the fresh tires. Why not put them to use?
He's putting them to use right now as these guys battle for position up front. The gap is about 2.5, 3 tenths. They've almost been matching each other's pace. A slight advantage to the 67 right now.
Still looking at Elwood back as this battle's really not there quite yet. Elwood's by Furness, got through him in the middle of 1 and 2. Battle behind Paul Irvin and Senesac side by side. That will be for the 8th position, and Irvin's going to have that position as well. As a 49, see how hard he's pushing those tires in the wall.
No, the 33.
No. There goes Weishart into the wall.
Irvin, Senesac.
We're wrecking big time. Another big one has occurred at Darlington. Oh, my goodness. Scratch everything with Elwood moving up through the field. We're going to bunch him up again.
Well, that's going to help him in 6th, though. Lose laps, but, yeah, they just kind of came together.
Yep, that kind of that. All right.
Wow.
Bar after bar. Yep.
So my decision of whether or not we jump to break briefly is going to all depend on if anyone decides to pit and do something interesting, which is possible. I'm going to keep our eyes on the pit entry here and see what strategy is. But now it's too late to do what Elwood just did now. So Elwood is in a great spot, but if anyone sees what Elwood is doing and tries to copy it, you don't have enough laps left.
Well, I'd be shocked to see anyone ahead of him pit, that's for sure. But there are guys up there that are on really old tires, I believe. I don't know if Garrett Grant has fresh tires.
So
they might.
Everyone is on the same strategy in the top 5. They're all on 28-lap-old tires. Now, keep in mind that a lot of this has been yellow. Elwood has a 19-lap advantage over them. Furness has 7-lap fresher tires in the top 5. Then Mitchell is on the same strategy as the front 5. So really, it's just Elwood and Furness that have an advantage. Top 5 all in the same footing.
And pretty much everyone stays out except for the drivers who were in the incident. So no crazy things happening under this yellow. And that's probably it for strategy, almost certainly.
Yep, and with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment for the restart. Back live for the area Lodgebox series. Thursday night action from Darlington. The track too tough to tame has been tough to tame for the most of the field in the last 20 or 30 laps. Multiple cautions, big accidents, multiple cars involved. Connor, the first 3 quarters of the race was pretty clean and green. Since then, it's been a real challenge to keep it straight. But now we're running out of laps. It's going to be a restart with probably 6 laps to go. And that'll only be one more yellow before we're in overtime.
It's really what we've seen a number of times throughout the season, really. We saw it at IRP. We talked about that. Atlanta had late yellows. Iowa, the same situation played out. We've been seeing this really the last 3 races in different aspects. Ever since Mid-Ohio, the fully green race, because it's a road course, we've seen these types of races that go green, have one yellow that kind of trips things up, and then we see strategies play out, and then the yellows breed yellow. So another situation where we've kind of seen that again, but really the drivers at the front have been the drivers at the front. Really, no one's touched Cameron Hearn or James Scioli other than Alan Elwood, who took himself out of the lead after hitting the wall early on. Those 3 have been the class of the field. Garrett Grant, Chris Rabel, waiting to see if they can do anything about these guys winning this one. And I'm really excited to see Hunter what that 49 can do.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's 6th, so he's gonna restart 3rd on the outside line. Hearn's gonna have the 5 of Grant behind. Now I don't know how competitive the 5 of Grant is. This speed's kind of shocked me when saw he was inside the top 5. He's up to 3rd. He's gonna have that advantage though, because as the leader, you just launch on these restarts. Although the 7's been able to keep up with the 67 of Cameron Hearn, so we'll see how that plays out. But if you're the 5 of Grant, you're sitting in a pretty good spot right now.
There are only 5 drivers that have a best lap time of under 30 seconds. It's Hearn, Scioli, the 49 of Elwood, Shane Therian, and there was one more that I missed on the board somewhere. But it is that's how competitive that front group is. Garrett Grant's best lap time is a full 10.5 slower than those ahead of him. He has not really been at the pointy end of the mix, but he's been in the mix tonight. So we'll see what he's got here, given the track position and 6 laps remaining. Remember, if we get a caution, that will pretty much, if we at least go 1 lap, it will trigger an overtime situation, and that means that we can only have 1 more caution where we get a chance to restart. We could have 2 more in theory. 6 to go, and green flags back in the air,
Whoa.
racing again. And the 49 wiggling and
Whoa,
wobbling.
Go.
Oh, struggling to get up to speed. A little pushing and shoving.
Here comes Scioli on the outside. Scioli just took the lead away. I'm not sure how that happened.
It looked like Hearn thought he was going to jump the restart. He slowed down to not hope to avoid a penalty and let Scioli get the jump. Scioli to the race lead. And I think Hearn has a penalty. He got himself a penalty. He's done it again.
Well,
oh no.
Just like that, it switches the lead over to the number 7, James Scioli. 2 wins on the season, 5 laps away from another one as everybody fights for position behind. Elwood's up to 5th.
He's boxed in. He's getting contact from Tommy Ryan. He survives it. He's going to get the 4th position away, but he's got a long way to go.
Loose.
Oh, he's loose. Oh, my goodness. The car control from Alan Elwood there coming out, too. Wow.
Trying to hang on to it here, coming to 4 laps to go for Scioli. Elwood is up to 4th. He is charging. He's going to need every ounce of speed he can coax out of this 49 car. He's going to run out of time if he doesn't get up on the wheel quick. It is still side by side inside the top 10.
Oh, car on the wall. That's looking like Coe gets it back going, but I don't think the 49 has a shot without a yellow, really, at this point. The pace advantage isn't quite there, but he's looking like he'll for sure get a top 3 if he can just hold on here and keep a tight line. Chris Rabel showing a fine line on the bottom, though. They're side by side for that top 5 spot. That's Tommy Ryan and John Furness.
Furness, this would be a really big improvement to get inside the top 5 after the way his night started and has been. It's going to be tough, though, trying to get around the 99 on the outside. He gets the run to stay in front of Furness. Furness a little sideways, as it looks like Garrett Grant has stayed about
caution.
5 to 6 tenths. Oh,
Out of turn 2.
Oh,
Another hit. That is what Elwood needed, but he'll still be on the outside.
And it's overtime now, which means we'll get a 2-lap sprint to the end here. And given, well, he had contact from the 37 there, not his fault.
Yeah, he was really struggling for grip. He had no rear end, which will never help. Actually, yeah, he did get a help from the 37, but that sets up a pretty important restart here.
Yeah, so the situation for Scioli, I think, is still pretty good because the restarts have proven to be a challenge. So I think it is like a 70-30 likelihood that we get a yellow to end this race.
well, go back to Monday night. We had a stack up on the last restart, and that was it. So it could happen again tonight. And with what we just saw in that last restart, Elwood spun the tires, and a lot of drivers had to check up, and some were spinning in the back. So I feel like we might see a repeat of what we saw Monday night.
I just can't believe Cameron Hearn did it again. We saw it at Iowa, the same exact thing. You jab the throttle and you go over that pace speed, they'll give you the penalty. And that time, it wasn't even that he really jabbed the throttle. He just went before the restart zone. That is such a crucial mistake. He had all the control in the race, and that's just such a harsh mistake.
So Scioli takes advantage of that mistake, and Garrett Grant has put himself in second, Hunter. He is in a really good spot, one that he hasn't been in yet tonight or this season, a chance to win a race.
Indeed, he has, and unfortunately he's going to restart on the outside line. But hey, James Scioli got the lead on the outside line at last restart. So if something similar happens to Scioli with what happened to Hearn, Garrett Grant might be in a position. I wouldn't count out the 5 just yet.
We haven't even talked about Chris Rabel yet.
Yeah.
Look at him in third position. He's going to have the advantage of going once Scioli does. He can get the jump.
Yeah, Rabel is certainly in a great spot. And a quiet night. As you mentioned, we haven't really talked about him not only recently, but just tonight in general. 7th to 3rd.
Bless you.
Oh.
Thank you, Hunter.
Oh,
Yeah, we got that
was
all live on air, buddy. Hope it's clear.
Yeah, it's
I
been,
was
been a
wondering
struggle
what
the
that
last
was.
week. Yeah. But got that clear out of the way now. Ready to go for the next restart here. If we do get a restart, because like I said, it could happen Monday night with what we saw. It was a very anticlimactic finish. It seemed like it was going to be really, I can't wait for this restart. Can't wait to see who goes, who doesn't. Then they all wrecked at the start-finish line. And I was like, well, that was a bummer.
All right, so other cars in the mix. Tommy Ryan, we've talked about him a little bit. Look at his starting position, Connor. 30th to 5th.
Really, really impressive. He impressed at Atlanta 2 weeks ago and really all 3 of the series, but this is even above that win 2 Thursdays ago because of just how hard it is to make up track position and do it with a relatively okay car. Has some front end damage and a little bit on the left rear, but he's really been able to play this right to get up to 5th. 25 positions gained on tonight. Same for Ricky Harden, also up 25 positions on tonight. Also a dinged up race car, but he's been able to stay in it and get up to the top 10.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan, he was in space Tuesday night in the Truck Series in Atlanta. Then he comes back down to earth and wins Thursday night. He still got some speed underneath of it. With how fast he went into the sky, he's just that fast on the racetrack, P5. Look out for the 99. He might move up a couple positions.
Lights are out of the pace car. We are in overtime now, and this is our one and only shot. If we get a yellow, the race is over. If we get back to the white, race will be over the next lap, whether we crash or not. An extra little stressor for people, Connor. Once you get to that white and people start wrecking, you just got to keep your foot in it.
Man, I can only think how close Alan Ode was getting to that 3rd position on Chris Rabel. What a difference it would have made if that yellow came maybe a lap after. He'd be in a much better spot, albeit the 7 probably takes the outside, but it puts him in a much better position to attack if he's on the inside. But no matter now, not the situation. We're going green.
All right, 2 laps to go here at Darlington. The final 2 laps of the race, whether they're green or under yellow. Time to go racing, and Scioli fires off. And there they go. They're stacking up in the backdrop. Everybody splits 3 wide, and we get around a lap.
Watch out, Rabel slow. They're stacking up. They're able to keep it straight so far. Elwood trying to make the aggressive move. Garrett Grant shutting the door. Elwood has the run, but he's not there quite yet. You'll have a look. They're scrambling down the back straightaway, but they keep it straight so far.
Elwood looking for the 2nd spot. That might be all he can get. James Scioli half a second out in front already. Coming off turn 4, they're door-to-door for 2nd. The white flag is out one final time around the lady in black.
We will end under green tonight. Elwood and Grant side by side. He puts the 5 in the fence. The 28 upside down in turn 2. Horrible crash, tumbling down the banking, and everybody's going to have to drive through it, clobbering each other as James Scioli rolls through turns 3 and 4. Came into the night already leading the standings. He's going to walk out leading them by more. 3rd win of the season for James Scioli at Darlington this time, as carnage ensues behind him.
Elwood 2nd, Rabel 3rd. Rest of the top 5. Harden gets 4th. Forrest Smith, Chambliss, Thomas, Mitchell. Really, really unfortunate for Garrett Grant. That was really, really crushing, as here comes another. Here's the driver who went upside down. He's still going to be able to finish in front of a few cars.
We're going to have to take a look at a replay and see if there was any sort of contact between Elwood and Grant, because there might be a good bit of people in the admin tower tonight.
Here's a look.
Grant was not happy on the radio, as you can imagine. Side by side.
Oops, sorry. I didn't need to get the wipe through. Let's go back a little bit.
Is this Monaco? Yeah. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
there you go. Oh,
boy,
what a hard hit.
Take a closer look at this, though. Let's have another look. And runs up the hill. Yeah.
I mean,
runs him up.
He just ran him up the track. There was room there, but Grant held his line pretty firmly, and Elwood did not. Then Furness gets the worst end of his stick, as well as Tommy Ryan, crushed into a wall, really roof first. They were wrecking in the back as well. I think Cameron Hearn was involved. He was a lap down.
All sorts of carnage.
This is a gnarly impact for the 28. Just the first one here. It's hooked into the fence. Bam. Pile driven in, upside down, roof first. Then gets hit on the passenger side A-pillar. Then skids down the racetrack. Barrel rolls once. Gets clipped in the nose. And how did he even flip back upside down?
I think he gets hit again. No, just rolled over.
Does he get the fortunate roll? I guess he does.
Yes, he does.
And at that point, get in first gear. Get back going.
Man, what a wild way to end this one. Here's a look at your race results. Scioli, Elwood, and Rabel, your top 3. That doesn't explain all the rest that happened, but a pretty wild night indeed, Connor. Looking down the rest of the order, who do you see?
Richard Thomas, where'd he come from? He did restart near the front after he stayed out, but he was able to recover for 7th. We didn't talk about Brian Chambliss once, and usually we talk about him at least once. We did not, but he gets 6th place. Forrest Smith, Ricky Harden, 33rd to 4th, 29 positions. Really solid job for him. Definitely the biggest mover of the night. Matthew Cochran, another driver who really didn't see up all much tonight, comes out with a top 10, Hunter.
Yep, and looking at the rest of the field, man, Swervin' Irvin, I mean, living up to the nickname. He was all over the place, got 11th, 12th for Fambro, Jeff Ryan, Senesac, James Coey. James Coey was all over the place too, still wound up with a good 15th place finish. John Furnace, after flipping over, comes home 17th, and then Garrett Grant 20th in a controversial fashion.
Tough one for him, and we'll look down the rest of the order here. 21st through 30th, Cameron Hearn, that restart violation ends up outside of the top 20. Probably should have, could have, would have won this race. 21st place. David Weishart ends up down the order as well, and some others down at the bottom. Let's talk with our top 3. Chris Rabel is the 3rd place driver in the number 29. Couldn't quite out a victory in this one. He comes home 3rd. Chris, hey, congratulations. Not a bad run. Top 5. Take us through your night and then surviving the last 30, 40 laps of this one.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, first of all, I want to thank my sponsor, Century Communities, Southern Creek Clothing, High Banks Podcast, and then obviously the guys at Keeping It Real Esports. But the night started off pretty calm. Started back there in the back half of the top 10. Just kind of rode around for the first 3/4 of the race, conserving tires as best you can. This track, you got to race the track more than the cars around you, so let everybody else make mistakes around you and go from there. And stayed out on old tires there. I think we had like 42 lap old tires there at the end, so eliminate the wheel spin, avoid any carnage that there is going into one on right there on the last lap, and bring her home P3 somehow. It's crazy. Love this track.
Looked like a fun one tonight, Chris. Congratulations. Strong run. Top 5. Take a 3rd, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Chris. Elwood, 2nd place in the number 49, came into the night with 2 wins and was a second shy of a 3rd. Scioli got that 3rd, Alan, tonight. Late in the race, kind of made that strategy call. Almost worked out. Needed some more green flag laps there at the end. Probably take us through it.
Yeah, just crazy race. I had to be overly aggressive there at the end. I already apologized to Garrett for the contact. It looked like it was net code, but still, I was just trying to send it in for 2nd there in the last lap, and we ended up making contact there. So I hate it for him. Good job on Scioli. I made a mental mistake early in the race. I tried to tell a lap car where to go, and in that moment, I lost the groove down there in the bottom of 3 and 4. Went up and got in the wall. So I put myself behind the 8 ball with the damage and just tried to salvage tonight. And I thought maybe pitting for tires at the end might be a good call. And it almost worked out with all the cautions and everything. But, you win some, you lose some. So it's Darlington.
Night salvage, 2nd place, Alan. I would say that it worked out okay in the end for you. So congratulations on that. Good run, good points tonight, too. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Finally, James Scioli, 3rd win on the season and got the lead in perhaps an unsuspecting way from a restart penalty from the 67. That's the 2nd time that's happened to him this season, James, but you'll take it, I bet. 3rd win on the season. Take us through your night.
Yeah, we'll take it. Definitely feel bad for Cameron. He's kind of been having some VR troubles. It's been hard for him to see certain things, especially little lines like that. So hopefully iRacing adds something to make that a little bit more visible. But definitely take the win. It's just, I don't know, these races, they're starting off so good, and we can have long runs at the beginning, and then it just turns into utter chaos every time, and they're just haven't been very fun lately. So I'm definitely glad to get the win, more playoff points, I guess. I think I'm still leading the points, which is good, but it's just, I don't know, just hasn't been fun. The first run was a blast, trying to save tires and battling with Alan, and I had Cameron right behind me, and that's always fun, and I know we can do that week in and week out throughout the field. It's just we get some late cautions and forget how to drive, I guess.
Well, regardless, James, yeah, it was definitely a slower tail half of the race, but you'll take the win. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and just a big shout out to you guys and the admin team and everybody that makes this go around. I know that we're all trying to get it better, and I know that we'll get there. It'll just take some time. So thanks to all you guys, and then big thanks to Rick's Hot Sauce, Butt Kicker, Dandles Candles, and Matco Tools for all being on the car, and we'll go get them. We'll go get them next race.
James Scioli, 3rd win on the season. James, congrats.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Connor, brief final thoughts on this race. 134 laps, a little extra distance on the evening.
Yeah, a lot of attrition. We saw it on Tuesday night as well. The attrition rate skyrocketed in the last 30 or so laps. It happened again, and we saw some unfortunate penalties. First to Seth Noel, then to Cameron Hearn. Again, second time this season he's done that. Got to limit those mistakes if he wants to up those playoff points. But at the end of the day, one of the faster drivers of the night won. Scioli was one of the better drivers. Led a lot of this one. Probably led the most laps and definitely deserves this one. Alan Elwood, maybe 2 to 3 more laps he would have had him, but just not in the cards for him tonight, Kyle.
And Hunter, final thoughts here on Darlington before we head to the All-Star race next week.
Well, tempers flaring as usual. Didn't expect them to actually make it to the finish, so that's kind of interesting. Nonetheless, it was still great racing all throughout the 3 area series, Cup, Truck, and the Lodgebox series tonight. Definitely didn't disappoint. Really excited for the All-Star race, in which that will be taking place this Tuesday night at the LA Coliseum with the ARCA cars. So this will be a fun one to look at on SimTV.
All right, we'll see you next Tuesday here for LA Coliseum All-Star Race. We'll see you there. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, Connor Horn. We'll see you next week.